Oh, whoa, where'd we go? What happened? I don't know what's going on. I get lost. Every time I get lost, man. All right, we're here. Fuck it, we're going. This is how we're doing it. So what's up, everybody? What's up, dude?
Nothing. People always let me come on here without my mic actually turned on. Do I sound now better?
No, you sounded better a minute ago when we were talking backstage.
There it is.
There it is. Whoop. every time. Every time. Okay. So, what's up? Happy Friday. I hope everybody's week was full of joy, I guess.
I'm so glad it's Friday.
That's why I figured everybody could use um thank Grogu it's Friday kind of stream. I figured that was a very fitting end of the week.
Yeah, my week's been so crazy. It's 9 p.m. and I just started drinking coffee. So we might be doing an after-hour stream over on
That's what it's
gaming. So
that's what it sounds like. Apparently, is that things are getting out of control over there on the East Coast? Because you're East Coast, I'm West Coast, so it's like it's crazy. All right, let's see. Yeah, I mean it's the summer of Ahsoka. That's what I've been saying. It's in full effect. What's up, Dale?
Dale, what up?
Saber Smith, what's going on?
What
KG,
up, what up?
you're always
Ride
on
or
time.
dies.
You're not late. You're not late. You're never late. You're always on time because you
A
get
wizard
here.
arrives precisely. Yeah,
Right. Exactly, Frodo. Maximus, what's up? Stanley's, how you doing? So yeah, it's Friday. I wanted to we usually don't do Friday streams. I know there's bigger, better fish out in the sea that are doing streams on Fridays, but I figured there's a lot of people out there that need a Friday, right? There's a lot of people out there that need a good Friday stream to chill out. And yeah, so we're here. So everybody pull up a chair, grab your beverage. I've got my beverage. Hawks and I went through this before the stream. I got my beverage. He's got his beverage. We're just getting into it.
Yeah, man.
So we're going to talk about a couple things tonight. There's going to be some talk about there's a couple things that I want to bring up tonight. We're going to talk about the CFO resignation, and we're going to talk about the Star Wars movie pushes, 2 movies in 2026, and we're going to talk about the rumors of George taking back over the franchise, and we're going to talk about what was the last thing we were going to talk about. Oh, the news article from the Direct. They were talking about let's see, what were they talking about specifically? The upcoming Jedi Origins movies gets new story details. So that's going to be the thing we're going to talk about. So,
and I'm going into that fresh, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I am too, because this just came out today. So I figure that's a great place to start since it came out today. I was just reading it, so we'll go ahead and bring that in first. So
all of my best reaching is first impressions. So chat, strap in.
Okay. We're gonna do the old let's see where we at. There we go. I like the bottom. Okay, so let's get a look at this. All right, I'm gonna go to an 8, and then I'm gonna bring this over here, and we're gonna take a look. Okay, so this is the
Dawn of the Jedi movie, right?
Basically, yes. This is the one they announced
this
at
is
Celebration.
Mangold?
Yes.
I'm actually extra excited for this because he originally was trying to do the Boba Fett movie,
right?
Before it became whatever else. So
right. Oh my God, that's not it.
Hey,
there we go.
Chat.
Okay, so so this is also the guy that directed Indiana Jones, from what I understand. So
the last one, the one
recent
that's the most controversial,
supposedly. The one that is coming, the one that everybody says sucks, but then everybody who's seen it says it's rad. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And I don't know.
You guys decide.
Not let the internet dictate what we think. Oh my God!
I'm a Temple of Doom stan, and a lot of people say that's the worst. So Here we go again.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Here.
Temple of Doom will just be
will-
my last Jedi. Okay, I'm fine with that.
I will raise you. My favorite is The Last Crusade.
Well, yeah. So
That's my.
I don't know.
I catch a lot of crap for that because everybody says that one's not very good either.
I think Doom is one I had on VHS, like snuck watching the most when I was a little kid. So I think that like has a special place in my heart.
Well,
because
yeah.
I was not supposed to see people's hearts get pulled out.
Right.
at the age that
Kali
I
Ma.
did.
I mean, it's more about the Kali Ma than anything. But anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is supposedly the guy that directed, I believe. Let's read the article. Okay, so Star Wars upcoming Jedi Origins movie gets new story details. This was posted today, and it was done by Kevin Felt. So let's just get a read. All right, the director behind the upcoming Jedi Origins movie, James Mangold, offers up some story details about his Star Wars film. Announced back at Star Wars Celebration 2023, Marigold's first dip into the galaxy far, far away will explore the first Jedi to wield the Force, set 25,000 years before the beginning of A New Hope. Now, that's awesome. Let's see. The film has been described as a biblical epic, taking inspiration from Hollywood classics like Ben-Hur.
I remember hearing that part specifically.
That's interesting. That's very what, 10 Commandments-y?
Yeah, dude, I had Ben-Hur, like there was a cartoon version of the story. But he was more of like gladiatorial, like chariots racing. I think and chat may correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was a slave.
In Ben-Hur?
Gladiator
Oh,
style
okay.
Slave back in the day.
Dale, bring this up at the end.
True epic though. Keep going.
We need to talk about this at the end. So Dale, bring this up at the end of the stream. Remind me at the end of the stream if you're still hanging, okay? Because I want to talk about that more in detail. Let's get into that. Okay, so since the project's initial announcement, updates have been few and far between. This is aside from the idea that because Marigold has a couple of other movies also in the works, including DC's Swamp Thing, this Dawn of the Jedi's film is still likely years away. So I didn't know he was doing Swamp Thing. Awesome.
Wait, is he doing the one that's coming up for DC or
I believe so. Yeah, the Swamp Thing.
That's cool. I was hyped for a series they were going to do back in the day. They were filming it down in the Carolinas.
Right. Okay. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny director James Mangold shares some of the first story details of his upcoming Dawn of the Jedi movie. Speaking with Gizmodo, Mangold said that his Star Wars project will not necessarily be the origins of the Jedi, but about the first people to feel and utilize the power of the Force. He said he had worked a bit before. Did I get that right? He said he had worked a bit before on other projects at Lucasfilm and understood that much of what they were doing was looking forward. This is a direct quote, I'm guessing. Well, I've talked to Lucasfilm before and even worked a bit before on other projects. And I'm always interested in what's going on there and have friends who have worked on other Star Wars projects. But I understood that much of what they were doing was kind of continuing the saga forward. Okay, interesting. So so it surprised him when he talked to Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy about potentially going backward, really far backward. So when I mentioned to Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm president, the idea that I had about going backwards, really far backwards, I was surprised that it excited her and that other wonderful people she worked with at Lucasfilm. Interesting. Let's see. The Star Wars filmmaker then let slip that his movie is going to focus on a kind of origin story on how the Force came to be known, understood, wielded, and harnessed. For me, it's about I want to be part of the saga, but I also don't want to be holding so much lore in the air that you can hardly tell a story. That's very true. And what I really wanted to do What I told her was just, can we make a kind of 10 commandments of the Force, What kind of origin story of how the Force became known, understood, wielded, and harnessed? It's really interesting. Let's see. In a separate
Yeah.
conversation with Vanity, Mangold revealed the movie is very much about the birth of the Force, asking questions like, where did it come from? How is it found? And who found it? It's a chance to tell an entire story of its own, the birth of the Force. When I first talked to Kathleen about it, I just said, I just see this opening to make kind of a Ben-Hur or 10 commandments about the birth of the Force. The Force has become kind of a religion, legend that spans through all these movies. But where did it come from? How is it found? Who found it? Who was the first Jedi? And that's what I'm writing right now. Okay, let's see.
I love it.
I'm in right now. I got a couple thoughts about this going forward too. What if
Yeah.
could be. So let's get into this. Okay, why is the first Jedi movie so important? There's plenty to be excited about in the future of Star Wars filmmaking, whether it's a Rey return, a Taika directed Star Wars epic, or even a Mandoverse crossover fans have been waiting for. However, one could argue nothing has the storytelling potential of Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi film. That's a very true statement. For decades, Star Wars has, aside from some legend stories like Knights of the Old Republic, played in some sort of 50-year period, and that was about it. Recently, of course, it has expanded to do a bit to include 100 years prior to the High Republic, with the High Republic, right? But there's so much more of a timeline that could possibly be explored, and it seems Mangold is taking that to an extreme. This Jedi Origins film could be the opening of an entirely new era of Star Wars storytelling, exploring the beginnings of the Sith, the Jedi Sith, and many other aspects of the universe audiences have come to know and love. If the Dawn of the Jedi movie is done well, this could be a revitalization of the franchise some have been calling for years. There is no known release date for Mangold's Star Wars project, but it is expected to occupy the current open December 2028 release slot of Lucasfilm slate. So there we have it. So let's talk about the first wielder of the Force. Could this kind of be maybe? I'm gonna throw some spaghetti on the wall real quick.
I'm ready to speculate, baby.
Could it be the Bendu?
Like himself? Comes to town?
Or an ancestor?
With a big old bag of tricks and teaches people the Force?
The Gray. He is the Ashla and the Bogan, right? He's the one that stands in the middle. Maybe some ancestral teacher, right, of his.
A lot of those types of characters, like him and the Eye of Webbish Bog, like I just kind of feel like they are inherent to the planets they're from. A lot of them.
So you think he's a
he could just have been birthed there and lived there, and people that find him learn what he knows in some aspects. Maybe he calls to certain Force users at times. I like his existence. I'm not sure about him being like the first of the Force wielders, but
yeah. No. I'm with
Gray or someone that is aware of him.
I think it's interesting that they're going to go that far back. I think it's fun.
Do you think the first person will be balanced?
Oh, I don't think so.
Do you think it's going to be like an awakening within them?
I don't. I think it will be unfortunately, I think it's going to be probably from the perspective of a child.
I would like that.
At least in the beginning, right? And then maybe you fast forward through time with the child, or you don't want to need it to be completely linear. I feel like there could be some jumps, but for me, I think it would be interesting to discover the Force, in the need to save, or in the heat of anger, or something like that. I think those are the places that are most likely to you're most likely to find your abilities. It is in a moment of despair, a moment of desperation, right?
Chat's already bringing up a good point. Who is the father, really?
I
From the
mean,
Mortis arc.
that would be fantastic.
I love that already.
I love that shit. Yeah, man, that would be
I
great.
think about things like Prime Jedi too. Like, how old was that? How old is that first Jedi temple?
Right.
Because this movie is not going to be Jedi or Sith. I would assume it's just going to be a person who is like getting these feelings of the Force and like being able to sense things outside of your normal human or alien senses.
Could it be like a Jason Bourne kind of thing? Like just all of the sudden, like you're saying, like not knowing,
Mm-hmm. A
almost like
sleeper cell kind of thing that just clicks, or
something that, yeah, like I said, I think we've seen it a couple times where you see the Jedi, or a youngling using the Force and being unaware. I mean, Anakin is a perfect example of that, right? He uses the Force without being aware of it when he pod races, right? He
exactly, someone who just seems talented naturally.
Right, exactly. That's kind of the feeling I have, is that's more of the virgins that we're going to see. Like, why are you so good at this? Why are you so talented? Why are you such a good swordsman? Well, I feel it. I know what's coming before it happens. Like, almost using George's lines in episode 1 with Anakin, I think would be really poetic, right? Having the child or whoever that's talking about this say his exact line, like, or Qui-Gon's line. He doesn't react. He knows what's coming. He can see things before they happen. Like, that's, to me, I think that would be the most interesting way to get into the Force.
Yeah, I was going to touch on this too, because in Legends, I believe it was one planet that originated the Force users. And if you leaned too far either way, the collective sent you to the moons.
Right.
So if you went too far dark, you went to Ashla to balance. And if you went too far light, I suppose they would send you to Bogan to balance. But
how far? Well, what is too far light? Like, this is like toxic positivity I'm talking about again.
Yeah, but it's like that whole balance, like the hubris, things like that didn't exist during this time when people were just discovering the Force. Like, but here's the thing too. Like,
I mean, look, the wills. I mean, could it be the birth of the wills, right? Or the death of a physical being that becomes the wills, that becomes part of, it's just interesting.
I love that too.
Right? Like, could the wills be a collective of the okay, so like I'm gonna go kind of geeky here. Did I hear something? Were your ears ringing? Charlie, we haven't seen you in a bit, and all of a sudden we talk Mortis and Anakin, and pow, you're here, baby. Welcome, brother. And let me know in the Discord if you want to jump in. I think I sent Lainey an invite also. Happy Friday, Picard Day all day. Okay, hey, cool. I like Jean-Claude Picard. But look, I mean, could this I lost my train of thought when
the wills.
Oh, could this, so there's a book out there I read when I was young. It's called The Childhood's End. If you've ever read it, it's a sci-fi book. I don't know how I read it. I don't know a lot of people that have read it. But anyway, I read this book called The Childhood's End. It's a real good book. If you have kids, it's a real great lesson learner for kids. I really enjoyed it. But anyway, the premise of this book is, at one point in humanity, all of the children that are born after a certain point are born into a collective. Their minds become a collective. They no longer need to speak to one another, and they consume basically by osmosis, right? They become part of a collective. Anyway,
it's crazy.
It would be interesting if with the death of one being spawned the wills, and that point children started being born with the Force, right? Like the creation of the wills and the need for the force in the universe led the children after that to be born with the force?
Okay, so let me go like maybe a layer deeper, because one of my favorite stories of all time is the Never Ending Story.
Oh yeah, bro.
So do you remember the Nothing?
Yes.
And so what if it's like there's just this nothing that exists, and it's a journey of these people who discovered the nothing,
Hmm.
and after the nothing is removed or the darkness is removed, that's when the true force starts to emerge within people or something. Maybe there is some all-powerful darkness that is encapsulating this piece of the universe that we don't even know about yet.
Right.
Like they
Yeah.
could do anything really. Like,
I like everything you're saying right now.
yeah.
I like everything you're saying right now. And look, this movie is going to be something unique, right? I think that's also part of why I'm into it a lot, because let's get away from some of the things that divide us, right? I'm always trying to build bridges.
Yeah.
Yes, I do knock some down sometimes, but I don't light them on fire. I do I do believe in building bridges between things that we don't agree on, and I feel like this is a great opportunity. Where did the force come from? Well, let's let somebody tell us. Right? I would love if this person had, if James had a direct line to Dave and George to talk about these things.
Oh, surely.
Right?
I mean, it's going to be a hero's journey. You know what I mean? Like the classic. I'm like, when they keep saying things like Ben-Hur, I'm like, this person could be a Moses, like literally carrying the burden of the force for the first time and leading people to like some kind of liberation, or
yeah.
I
mean,
don't
like
know.
I said,
Could
because
go dark. Shit.
because there's so much Legends opportunity out there.
Mhm.
I just feel like there's an opportunity to grab from that, and that's what I go back to that always. I think that's a brilliant acquisition, and something that Lucasfilm did right was to decanonize all of this stuff. And some of the stuff I really like. I wish it was canon, but it's not right now. But then bringing,
well, the
this
thing people
stuff
don't
to
realize too is removing, like, quote unquote, removing that from the canon means that it can be again at some point. If they said no, this is canon, we don't get any of that, period. It stays there.
right.
So
That's what I'm saying.
that's where my mind
Well,
goes with it.
not to mention and this has always been my argument with the decanonization of Legends and the EU. There's so many different stories about so many different characters. Who decides what's what? Right? Does George Lucas sit in his house with books and go in, out, in, out, in? Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, at
what do
this
you mean they
point,
destroyed the Death Star? I love that robot chicken, dude, with the Emperor.
Oh man. But you know what I mean? Like, at what point does,
and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
but at what point do we just, agree with that? Right? Like, it was the best course of action for the moving forward of the franchise, right? You can't make a canon movie about every book that was ever written. It's just not possible.
There's endless possibilities.
And unless you do what Marvel has done and what the DC universe just shit on with the Flash, and you make a multiverse out of it. And that I don't like. I want Star Wars to continue to stay away from the multiversal appeal. Yes, it's easy, but I figured if they were going to do that, why wouldn't they have done that why wouldn't they have just kept everything canon and just started banking out movies of the old stuff that's already written, right? They didn't want to do that. They wanted to decide, we're going to create a consistent arc and keep one timeline. That's what I like. I want one solid universe. I don't want a multiversal spaghettios of universes, right? Let's keep it one true universe. So it's yeah, I mean that's just how I feel about it. I think that was a good thing to do. And with this, now this opens the door for these stories that can continue to move forward, right? I don't need that. I don't need that multiverse shit in my Star Wars. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans would agree. I do think that the World Between Worlds will factor into the Ahsoka show, but I think it'll be used in the exact same way. So nothing will change except for changes in the characters we know in the story that are already aware of the World Between Worlds. I don't think that the World Between Worlds is going to become a known thing with anyone who survives or anyone who would use it with malintent. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I mean. It. I know they're going to touch on the World Between Worlds. Obviously, we've seen the footage, but I think it's going to be used more the way they used it for Ahsoka than they are to travel through timelines to change things, right? Otherwise, the Emperor would have jumped into the World Between Worlds and we would have seen that chaos ensue immediately in Rebels, right? It doesn't necessarily fit in what we're doing with Star Wars. So, yeah, I mean, the timeline's hard enough to follow, bro. I was just having this timeline epiphany through the Kenobi show and Rebels, and I'm like, man, I'm like, man, that the Kenobi show happened before Rebels, so I am fascinated at the fact that Vader got his helmet cracked twice in 5 years, right? So Obi-Wan did it first, right? And what I found real interesting is Obi-Wan cracked the left side of Vader's helmet, right? And sees the burnt, like real burnt part, like the lava dripping skin part, right? And then you get to Rebels and Ahsoka chops off the right side of his helmet and it's not so messed up, right? But they each take a side of his face. And I found it fascinating that people forget the Kenobi stuff happens first, even though we see it so much further down in our actual time, right? That happened first. So I think it's, yeah, I think that's the biggest part of it, to be honest. That I find interesting is that the timeline is difficult enough to follow because of the jumps, even that George did. Well, hold on.
Well, okay, 4, 5, and 6 are first, okay? Stay with me, everybody. 4, 5, and 6 are first. And then we're going to wait like 15 to 25 years. And then we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to sell the company. And somebody else is going to do 7, 8, 9. It's all over the place.
That's how it is just with the movies. Then you had the TV shows and the Mandalorian and the this and the that. It's just out of control. So it is hard to
just
follow.
give me the damn timeline. Just explain it to me like I'm 5.
Well, but that's what I think.
And then we can all move forward.
They've done a really good job of that on Disney Plus. You have a chronological order now, right? You have a chronological order now. So they literally put every single thing in order so that you can watch it in chronological order. You can watch it the way it released.
But there still are specific little moments, scenes, epilogues that are vague, which is cool. So,
well, yeah, I think it's, but here's the thing that, as far as timeline, here's the one that bothers me. Forget about the World Between Worlds and Ahsoka, right? For me, the timeline stuff that's really jargony is how does Obi-Wan in a mere 5 years get from the Kenobi we see in Kenobi to the Kenobi we see in Rebels in that 5-year gap, right? Because if Leia and Luke are like 10 in Kenobi, and when we see Kenobi in Rebels, Luke's like 15, 16. So where in that 5 years did he turn into old man Kenobi?
Yeah, that's the stuff that makes my brain hurt.
I did. It was great. You should go back and watch that episode, dude. It was so good. But yeah, it's but for me, that's the real crazy one that we gotta that people forget is like Luke and Rebels when we see Kenobi is like 15, 16. We see Luke in Kenobi and he's 10, 11 maybe. So there's this 4-year gap where Kenobi gets wilted in the desert. So like timeline, I need more. He turns into a raisin in the desert.
That's what happens when you're trying to become cosmic, bro. Takes years off your life.
You think he's just like in meditative? You think he's like Doctor Strange, looking at into the future and the past, and for years
Just trying to
meditating?
fight off the darkness.
Well, I mean, it's funny. I was thinking about that earlier today. Is how aside from Riva and finding finding Luke and finding Kenobi on Tatooine. How the hell does if the Emperor can feel, if the Inquisitors can feel little kids across the galaxy, right? In
But I don't know if they
Rebels,
can.
in
Who's
Rebels
doing
they
that?
do. They hunt them.
But it's because they get locations too. Surely.
I mean, they always find Ezra and Kanan, so they can hunt Jedi. They can feel Jedi.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're hunting.
But like,
kids.
listen, these Inquisitors are getting slapped around by Darth Maul, and Darth Maul can't find Kenobi.
Right.
So-
So my question is, how does, and chat, help me out here. How do the children of the Force get found? Is that Palpatine sitting over his witch doctor cauldron and finding their locations, or is this a just one and done kind of thing? They just feel them and they're out. Like what's the feel?
I think that stuff kind of fizzled out after Vader tracks down Cal and the holocron gets destroyed, and after he kills Kenobi, that stuff kind of dies down a little bit. I'm curious what the mission is of this Inquisitor that Ahsoka meets, because maybe Ahsoka is the mission, because Vader, like, are they going to show us? Are they going to show us Ahsoka in the current reality, we'll call it, and Vader getting onto her trail somehow and sending an Inquisitor after her?
Well, I mean, that's
or we've talked about it. Does she not come back until after his death?
that's
So like she
that's
won't.
the hook that I think.
He won't be anywhere in this part of her story.
No, I don't think it is. I think this story
Yeah.
all happens post
Okay.
Mandalorian. This is after we see her in Mandalorian. This is
with Luke and all that.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. See,
Uh,
this is where it's like confusing.
well, look, I'm a firm believer that that's why we don't see any of Ahsoka after Rebels until way later, until the Empire's gone and Vader's dead, because I think that she knew if she came out, once they knew she was alive, she was always going to be hunted. And the only way to stay, just like Yoda, the only way to stay off the radar is to go somewhere super dark and fight through it, right?
Well, the other part of that too is if Vader knew she escaped through a literal disappearing act, like that is their clue to know there is a higher power. There is that thing that Palpatine's been hiding from me, kind of thing.
Well, yeah,
So
man. I
she
mean,
couldn't show,
Yeah, well, that's another thing. I mean, it's just really interesting how we're going to see Ahsoka in this new series. And a lot of people, that's one of the stories. I think one of the problems that Dave has had during this time is that how do you introduce a character that's been beloved for 10 years plus by the fandom, but still introduce a new character to new people, right? Because the muggles that watch Disney Plus have no idea who this is, right? If they're just stepping in from Boba Fett or the Mando stuff or whatever, they're not going to really know any of her background. So at what point
better catch up?
Well, like I said, I think do your homework, but at what point do we say, how does Dave introduce a new character to people without boring the current fandom? right? That's his issue. That, in my opinion, that's his biggest issue.
Well, he's gonna have a huge test with Ray Stevenson and that other actress. Brand new characters,
Yeah, well,
brand new Jedi we've never even heard of or knew
well,
about.
and I mean, like I said, I just, man, but yeah, Matt,
I
like I
want
said,
characters like that to survive shows like this. Yeah, Shin Hati, like I would love her to become a re type character. I would love more rogue force users out there finding their way, not tied to the Empire or the Jedi.
right. Well, I mean, and the idea that this is, these are Thrawn's mercenaries, like the fact that they're out there being mercenaries, is is kind of what
Yeah.
we saw from the Jedi that we see, Malicos, right? These down Jedi. I mean, look, to expect that you're gonna get all 10,000 plus Jedi in one swing of the racket, like is not realistic. I mean, that's why Palpatine had the Inquisitors on deck for after he took over, right? Like that's why immediately after he had people hunting all of them down to get to the point where, and this is the argument that I see it on Twitter, I see it on memes and stuff like that, is, well, Yoda should have told Luke, well, like there's a lot of other Jedi out there, you're not the only one, but he's the only one that's being trained by a master, right? Did I say 40? I thought I said 10. Did I say 40?
Listen, there's a lot of them.
I just said, I know there's over 10,000, but anyway. But yeah, I mean, they had a squad hunting Jedi for a real long time. And if Palpatine if Palpatine can figure out how to hide his dark energy and his force sense away from a buttload of Jedi over the course of a decade plus, I think some Jedi could hide themselves in the force also, right? So the fact that there may not have been Jedi following the code, actively trying to right the galaxy, right? That's kind of what I felt like Yoda was is implying, the last of the true Jedi, right? He's the only one still fighting the fight, right? He's taking over their fight, and that's kind of what I felt that was all about anyway. Babu. I love sequel characters. You're not gonna get me down by mentioning Babu. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about, which is hilarious. I could go, okay, here. This is a perfect. I've never seen this. I've never read anything from this place
Refill the
before.
coffee.
Do it.
Continue.
Let's see. Okay, so this is from Geek Tyrant. Let's drag this motherfucker over here. Where you at? Let's drag you over here. All right. So, Geek Tyrant. Now, the reason I clicked on this is because the title got me. I'm not going to lie, fandom. The title got me. And what we're going to talk about next is the rumor of George buying back the franchise from Disney. Now, this article from Geek Tyrant is a ridiculous rumor is spreading that Disney is selling the Star Wars franchise and George Lucas is buying it back. I also find this hilarious. I'll wait for the dude. Oh, the dude's back. Did you hear the article title?
No, but I thought we were going to talk about masked YouTubers for whatever reason.
We're talking about mass YouTubers. I like that. Let's get into that.
Oh yeah, this rumor, yeah, from that guy who wears a mask.
Yeah, from this guy.
You want to know how I got these scars?
The title of the article from Geek Tyrant. I don't know who the Geek Tyrant is, but I like the name. A ridiculous rumor is spreading that Disney is selling the Star Wars franchise and George Lucas is buying it back. The title of the article got me, so I had to click. Okay. There's a ridiculous rumor that is spreading like wildfire across social media sites, including Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, that Disney is looking to sell the Star Wars franchise. Not only that, but that they are even saying that George Lucas is looking to buy it back. A lot of people and fans are believing this news is true, but it's a bunch of crap. Rumors like this are conjured out of thin air by websites and social media influencers just to get clicks, and many of them present it as fact. There is no validity to these rumors. There is no real credible source behind them. Disney has made a shit ton of money from the front. Did I write this article?
No, but you were saying all the same shit right before we got on.
Disney has made a shit ton of money from the franchise.
George can't afford it.
They've already made an initial investment of $4 billion back. So everything they make from here on out with the franchise is profit for them. There are also several high-profile Star Wars projects in development, including Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, Andor Season 2, the Rey movie, Dave Filoni's films, James Project, and Taika's flick. It's just plain old-fashioned common sense that will tell you these rumors are absurd. But I know people at Disney are saying that they're not true as well. Go ahead.
Did DC like launch a bunch of movie projects and TV shows and shit before they like gave James Gunn full control? Like, I'm so confused.
I know a lot of people at Disney are saying, is that true? So if you come across these rumors, it's all a bunch of bull crap. You gotta love the internet. I know some fans would love nothing more than for Disney to sell to Star Wars back to George Lucas, but that's just not going to happen. I'm sure Lucas is very much enjoying his retirement and his $4 billion.
Yeah.
Billion with a B. Billion.
And the weight of this fandom clawing at his back.
Oh
finally
my God,
gone.
dude.
Finally gone.
We ruined the prequels alone, bro.
We added so many years to that man's life.
We ruined the prequels.
Or, I mean, sorry, took away.
That's why he looks so old.
Yeah, exactly.
Because y'all ruined that man. Yeah, he ain't buying back nothing. Number one, we talked about this in the backstage. He doesn't have enough money. Right? Star Wars is not going to sell for less than $10 billion now. Right? Unless Disney got outright bought out and the next project developer didn't want to even deal with it, there's no effing way that Disney would sell Star Wars. It's a cash cow. It doesn't matter what merch they're selling and not selling. They made $100 off of Reva toys. Great. They made $1 billion off of Kenobi stuff. Like, get out of here, dude. They made so much money off of all this stuff. It's insane. And George doesn't have that kind of capital. It's not like he reinvested his $4 billion into a new franchise, made that killer, sold that, and has more money. No, the man has been retiring. You know why he was on the red carpet for Indiana Jones? Because it's Indiana Jones.
Because that's his shit. Yeah, like,
because it's Indiana Jones.
You guys won't ever see him again. Maybe at a Star Wars movie. But
I mean, come on. Like, it's a cash cow. Yeah, we sell cows. I like tacos. But yeah, man, look, George isn't coming back. That's why him and Dave have such a relationship, because they can talk about it and then Dave can decide what's coming. Right. Yeah, right.
He can just stay on and consult like forever.
In merch, I'm sure in merch, aside from Reva, I'm sure in merch they did quite well.
Yeah, like all of
think about, I don't know, the Kenobi saber, legacy saber set that they sold. Yeah. They sold an ass ton of that stuff, right? Yeah. When Kenobi came out. People hate people can hate on the show all you want. They made money. Think they didn't make money. They made money. Right? Like lightsabers alone, they made money.
And that show didn't have the budget of Andor.
George is way too old for this shit, dude. This
Yes.
if George came back, y'all would kill that poor man. Y'all would give him a stroke within a year. Look what you've done to Dave Filoni. When Dave Filoni took over, he looked like a spry young man. He is not that spry young man that he once was. Just
Do you
saying.
guys know? Do you guys know that the George Lucas treatments were like he was gonna go microscopic, and he was gonna literally go what like the wills are literally in the human cells. Like he was gonna show us the metachlorians and how they influence the universe. You guys understand that that's where that was gonna go? Like,
I mean, Dale, you're talking about $10 billion now if you want to buy Disney minimum, right? I mean, George doesn't have that kind of money anyway,
yeah,
right? So the
and they're buying everything.
well, but the more
What are they? There's something
own-
else they're gonna acquire.
they own everything,
They're
dude.
looking, dude, bro. They're looking at the WWE or AEW, one of the big wrestling organizations. I
Well,
think
I
that's
mean,
what it was.
dude, Apple has enough liquid cash, just cash on hand to
Hmm.
buy Disney. Like that's they're more likely to buy
No,
Disney than
that would be
Disney
bad.
is to sell Star Wars back to George Lucas.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, look, that's hogwash. I love the fan enthusiasm. I love the idea that, you know, people want George back. I think it does make him feel good. But look what they did to him in the prequels. Look what the fandom did to him during the prequels, right? After the first movie came out, y'all shit on him. Like y'all shit on his front lawn all day. And this was before YouTube and Twitter. This was just news and fan letters and all that. This was way before YouTube and way before the real social media had even thought about being started, right? This was the 2000s, right? This was 1999 is when when episode 1 came out. I remember where I was, right? Like, this is not, y'all shit on him back then, let alone now. Come on. Yeah, George is happy. Let him be happy. He's got his foundations. He's got his wife. He's got his happy life. Let him be, you know. I mean, look, where is it? Not you. Where is it? Look, yeah, they just laid off 7,000 people. That's going to increase when Star Cruiser shuts down with another 2 to 2,500. Like, everybody's excited for a hotel shutting down that they didn't like. That's people's jobs. So, you know, it's all about perspective here. So what else did we have on the docket tonight? We went through George. We went through, okay. Let's talk about the CFO. So I happen to have a letter, an email. I don't know how I have it. I can't really tell you how, because I don't really know. But let me find it.
Oh, your Bob Iger email?
Yeah, my Bob Iger email. Where are you, Bob? Where are you, Bob? Of course, you're not going to let me find it now.
Nerd Mafia, I'm not even going to ask what you mean by that.
Disney is the Kylo Ren of the entertainment world. Awesome. I agree. Yeah, Apple literally has enough money to liquid cash to buy Disney cash, like cash money. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll get into this. The CFO of Disney is leaving now. Whether that is by choice, whether that is whatever, the CFO is now out. And they are bringing in the CFO from parks to Disney parks to come take that spot. So, is this a changing of the guard at Disney? Right? Is this the first domino that's going to fall for the executive staff at Disney? Right? Are they looking to change things up? I mean, obviously, Chapek on his way out. Iger came back about a year ago, I want to say, close to it, and are these some of the moves he's looking to make, or is this just somebody wanting out? You know, I mean, what's the more likely scenario?
I don't know how much he's going to change guard, but I feel like with all of the it's been a roller coaster over there at Disney. We can go all the way back to Black Widow and the goddamn mess that was. Release dates, pushbacks, Scarlett Johansson suing them, whatever. That affected their bottom dollar. There's been a lot of things that have affected their bottom. There's been a lot of positive things that have affected their bottom dollar, but I don't think that they like the volatility of their stocks, of their they need some comfort food. They got to bring in people they know can handle.
And let's go one step further than that. So everybody's saying that, is again, this is the ongoing song. This is the old song that gets sung too much, right? This is a song you're tired of hearing that becomes an earworm. The idea that Kathleen Kennedy is out. She may be leaving soon enough, but it seems to me that these, and this is a great segue into something I kind of wanted to talk about anyway. Kathleen isn't going anywhere because her movie has been pushed back, right? Everything getting pushed back is not necessarily on her, right? Hold on, I'm gonna stop the music real quick, and we're gonna do this. And
which movie is hers?
Look who's here!
Hey guys.
I got a fancy sound effect. Did I get a fancy sound effect when I came in?
No, of course not.
What the hell?
You're not Charlie.
Bro just appeared like a genie.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
What up, Charlie?
What up, Charlie?
Not much, guys. Guys, I'm sorry if you can hear something background. Let me know. I can destroy that. That's fine.
You're fine. Sounds like you're doing laundry. You're good. I got laundry.
It's just his Padawan training on the bag.
That's it. Somebody getting after it. So yeah, I mean, look, this idea that well, Charlie, tell us what you've been up to. Let's segue away from this for a minute. Let's let Charlie tell us what's been going on.
I seen some of the stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, and everything like that. So again, popped in just to say hello. It's been a while, but no, saving the world, training, teaching, Fan Expo next week, and then GalaxyCon not too long after that.
Yeah, who have you been schmoozing with? I haven't talked to you in months. I feel like you've probably interviewed tons of people.
Charlie Cox, Daredevil.
Oh my God, let's go. Hell
Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, I'm gonna be fanboying out, man.
Yeah. If you guys don't follow Charlie's YouTube, he gets these really cool one-on-one interviews with people. It's very personal feeling, man. I like your passion on those videos, meeting them, and they're also it's cool.
Oh man, dude, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I always love watching your content, man.
Thanks, man.
But Star Wars,
Star Wars.
Ahsoka.
I can't wait, man. That's my next. Yeah, I mean,
that's what you're most hyped for. We have that. We have the Acolyte.
Honestly, yeah, and it's bittersweet. I know, it's been a while and everything, but man, I really hope Ray Stevenson's character knocks it out of the park.
Yeah,
I know it's just a weird feeling, man, because he played Garsax in Clone Wars and Rebels and everything like that, and I really wish he could have got a chance to see, what he's gonna do and everything.
Saw him in the trailer, and I immediately was like, dude, the potential here. I was like, man. And then we got that news, and it hurts your soul as a fan, but also to know that he's gonna crush it. We just know, you know what I mean? Seeing just the brief moments he was in the trailer, he gets his own Darth Vader hallway scene. Come on, man.
Man.
He's wrecking those fools.
God, it's so as the celebration. He was so. Yet again, he was one of those actors who wasn't stuck up and everything. He loved you and everything like that. So just kind of soul, nicest person ever, and go figure.
Yeah.
Everything carry on.
No,
Didn't mean to bring the mood down, but
No. Yeah,
we're
yeah.
very excited for his character
Yeah,
too, and
dude.
talking
That's
about the
my favorite
speculation
thing.
for the Ahsoka show.
yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, I mean, that's the thing I was talking about. Life's short, man, and you got to enjoy more than you dislike, right? I mean, takes more energy to hate something than it does to like it. So life's short, and you gotta treasure each day. So it's unfortunate. I think you know, I think the legacy of the actors in Star Wars kind of, you know, this character above all will live on, you know, through us talking about it, rewatches, all that stuff. I mean, that's one thing about Star Wars, that you become, you know, one of my favorite quotes is, you know, heroes last forever, but legends never die.
Legends never die.
Right? Like that's one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite movies. So ultimately, you know, I think I hope the show is going to be everything that I want it to be, but as always, I think my expectations are nil, right? Because I don't really live my life in expecting to get what I would want, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm at about an 11 for my expectations.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm gonna
expect
be
Star Wars. I will be great. I want, you know, Star Wars. I know that's weird to say, but just like I expect Star Wars, I want Star Wars, and there you go. You win. You automatically win.
Right. Well, and that's just it. I mean, I think that this is the dude that understands Star Wars more than any other person aside from the creator on Earth, right? Like that's for me, that's the big thing, is that everybody can say this and that, and I have my issues with Favreau, and I have my issues with some of the directors and choices that they've made over the years, but ultimately this is the dude that George handed the keys to the kingdom to. He may have made Kathleen Kennedy the CEO, but he handed the legacy of the lore over to Dave, and Dave has understood it and knows it better than anybody. That's why Rebels was such a huge hit, because he understood he understood Star Wars in a way nobody else did, right? Rebels, talk about all the negative things you want to talk about Rebels, right? The animation style, the thin lightsabers, fine, okay, great.
Ralph McQuarrie art piece.
I've seen the scenes with the fat lightsabers, and cool, they look great. Okay, I've seen people re-edit them with fat lightsabers.
we don't say fat, we say thick.
Okay, whatever, thick, fat, large, whatever, however you want to, whatever you want to use to accent it. I've seen it with the large lightsabers, and honestly, it's not that different to me, right? It's something to nitpick, because Dave understood Star Wars so well. He wrote a 4-season amazing story that gave us the return of Ahsoka Tano. They first gave us what we thought was the death of Ahsoka Tano, and then gave us the rebirth of Ahsoka Tano in a totally different light. So
Siege of Mandalore never gets old.
You know, yeah. I mean, you gave us season 7 after George was done of Clone Wars, and it felt just like the stuff that they did back in the day, right? Because no one understands the lore like Dave. So I'm very excited for the show. I just never expect them to give me what I think I need. I think they give me what I'm supposed to have, right? And that's where my expectation levels are at 0. My excitement level is at 15. Right? Like I'm over the moon about what we're going to see and excited about the story they're going to tell, but ultimately I don't expect anything from them. I just enjoy whatever I get. So, and maybe that's why I've been so fortunate as to like so many of the new shows, because I don't expect them to do this, that, or whatever with a character. I just take it as it is at face value, and I judge it for the content of work it is. Now, it's unfortunate that they didn't give Kenobi the budget that they gave Andor. Come to find out after the fact. But even still, I thought, oh, dude, the numbers that they gave Andor were like,
I stay away from anything like this. I know nothing.
Oh, they gave, what was it, like $250 million
$250 million
for
budget
Andor?
for Andor. They revealed.
it was outlandish, but it looked
buddy.
amazing. I mean, it
Yeah,
looked
I don't
amazing.
care. That's still my favorite show, and
Oh,
I'll die on that hill.
oh,
And-
it's amazing.
Yeah, no, this is so. How much did Andor get again?
To make
and
it was 250 million.
Yeah.
250 million. So. Did they?
How
wait
they
a
don't
minute,
see
shot
the
did they shoot that? No, they didn't. That was when the pandemic started thing, and then they shut that down and could carry on with the stuff afterwards and pick up shots.
What,
if I remember
Andor?
right. Yeah, I think.
that
'Cause I
being
remember
filmed
I remember
during?
they were filming in like place like Laszlo and other places like this to get like the shots and everything like that for oh god, not Saw Gerrera's base. That was in where they filmed that in London, and then they filmed where the TIE fighter scenario that was in Ireland.
You know what you're saying? There's
Mhm.
a lot of like on-site locations they went to.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, Andor, yeah, I mean, they went on a lot of they built a lot of sets in a lot of different places. There was a different feel and tone for it. You know, a lot of actors, right? Like a lot of extras, a lot of secondary characters that you know, I mean, think about the scenes on Coruscant. Just the
Oh, God,
extras on
man.
the scenes on Coruscant, right? Just the set design for Coruscant alone, right? Like these things were expensive, and you know, I mean, look at what they did for Kenobi. A lot of it was set in a desert, right? So, got your wish, Scotty.
Hey, what up?
Hello, friend.
What up, dude? Look at that! Look at that space back there. Long time no see.
I know.
You've been busy.
I know.
Yeah, that's great. Well, so Laney's here. Go ahead, Scotty. Let it fly.
It's rumor, it's speculation, but my time to shine, who is on Twitter, and they're pretty on point with like the rumor speculation, mainly in Marvel territory. But recently, she's been either trolling people or like seriously hinting at one, Kevin Feige's movie is still on the table, and that two, he wants
a Feige Star Wars movie? Is
Yes,
that what
remember
you're
they
saying?
announced he was literally in those presentations talking with Kathleen Kennedy. So not only is she saying his movie is still on the table in development, but he wants Mara Jade to be in the movie.
Oh God.
So like I'm telling you, dude, Mount Tantus, the clones, like give me that.
Gideon.
Yes, like yes, and yes. Cloning Force users, like we're gonna see something. We have to.
You just made it
Pure
as soon as you said
speculation,
that,
but-
I immediately seen.
I could see Laney beaming now.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
know who
ways
has,
I think
like
it can be
elevator
done.
music on in the background, but it's
Yeah,
very
dude.
soothing.
These are my, dude, here, okay, I can put something harder on for you. Here you go. Now that Laney's here, I can put something harder on if you want. But there you go. Here. Oh, you know what? Just for you, we'll go cowboy. There you go. Just for you.
Yeah, but if there is a random Twitter account that I've been following since before No Way Home, and they got all of No Way Home correct, and they're getting stuff right now still, and they're saying stuff like this, I'm like, yo, please don't tease me like this.
Love that movie.
Well, I mean, Mara Jade, at this point would be. Look, I've been saying it. I mean,
Wouldn't
Scotty.
it be unreasonable?
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing that I've been saying, and Scotty and I have had this conversation many a time. For me, the breaking point for Luke would be if Kylo and the Knights of Ren killed his family. Right? Like Mara Jade's death, pushing him over the edge to go into exile, like that kind of PTSD could ruin a person. And
we don't know the totality of the people that were in his temple.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I'm saying is like at this point, being as we know that the sequels, especially that temple that Luke has in the sequels, is getting built during right. It seems like that's again the path that I've been saying for a while. They're not going to deviate from. But what an excellent twist to bring Mara Jade in, have that story arc that people have been wanting, more specifically people like you that are infatuated, and then one of the things that we see that leads us to Luke's exile is his dead wife is holding his dead wife in his hands at the you know, and her death being at the hands of his prime student. Like that's the kind of stuff that I feel
I mean, it would follow legends pretty loosely anyways, but like it's not unreasonable to say like they could add all this in, because right now with Mando we're in the middle of such a expanded timeline that they have so many stories and ideas that they can use to fill that space in. And with what they were talking about at Celebration, with this whole movie coming about, they're supposed to be taking the Mando universe and Jedi and all that I wanted to begin with and mixing it in. So it's not unreasonable with everything they're doing to sit there and say, okay, why can't we make her live action and bring her in, and her being one of the very first students to his temple because she trains under him anyways. And heck, they can like where like it doesn't even matter when they bring her in at this point, because it's gonna make sense with everything they've shown. And I finally caught up with season 3 of Mando, and with the finale with Moff Gideon and everything, and Ahsoka and everything coming out, I'm like, okay, now it's just a matter of when.
Well, and that's just it. With Thrawn's emergence in the Ahsoka show and getting a live action Thrawn, what an opportunity to bring in Mara Jade and fill those timelines, right? Because that's really, and that's what we were saying earlier, is the breaking up of the Legends in EU gives them the opportunity to handpick when they want to introduce somebody into the live action universe, right? So it's almost fitting that we see her at some point going forward, because then you can literally put that death scene at the temple, and that's why he goes to R2 and looking for comfort while he's watching the temple burn, because he just found his wife dead behind him, right? Like there's so much opportunity there to bridge these gaps in the fandom.
And whose grave is on Ahch-To? We know he is standing on the edge of that cliff, and there is a damn stone there. We all know what it looks like.
Something else that also kind of bothered me about, because I actually have been like rewatching Star Wars and stuff lately. Something that bothered me with The Force Awakens was when Rey finds Luke's old saber.
Yep.
Was it Luke's old saber? Yeah, Luke's old saber. And in the books, Mara actually got his saber from him, because it was supposed to be Luke's, and before Luke's, it was Anakin's saber, and she was actually the one who was supposed to get it because her saber got lost in some, I can't remember what fight it was that she was in. And so even then, like connecting those two things, like the grave on like there with Luke, and then his lightsaber is just completely gone on another planet now, like maybe he got rid of it for a reason.
Well, and I mean, there's so much space. And that's what Dave and John have been talking about a lot, is there's so much space between The Force Awakens and Jedi that they have all this opportunity to fill in. They've started to fill that in with Mandalorians, right? Something new, something fresh, something hot, something all of us have been really interested in since we've seen them in the Clone Wars. We know more about Boba, we know more about the history of Mandalorians, but ultimately that's the way they got it. They're getting us in to the footsteps leading forward, right? Everybody thought, oh, they're getting away from the sequels. Look, this new stuff, and then Dave and John write the ship, basically.
Hold on a minute.
you guys wanted the ship to be corrected. These are the two guys that are planning the correction, right?
And it's not something that's going to happen like soon. And they've said that from the very start, that the plan for this was meant to be like over the course of several seasons and several years. And we should know that from Jon Favreau by now. How do you think Marvel was so well planned with these phases? We should know that. So like in order to get to that point, it takes a lot of time and a lot of planning to actually execute it well.
Well, and he's got a Feige wall, right? He's got a whiteboard with strings and magnets and with dry erase marker that lines a room of their plans, and we can take this story here and we can spawn it off here to do this thing, to tell this story, and they got a plan. Everybody's complaint during the last reign of leadership was they had no plan. There's no plan. Ray had no plan. Nobody knew nothing. They just kind of flew by the seat of their pants, and that's why it sucked. Agreed. But now they have a plan, and you're shitting on them now before their plan's done, right? Like let them implement what they're going to implement, and then if there's something to crap on, then crap on it.
Logic, weird.
And it's funny too, because like if they do this crossover thing, essentially like seeing these characters that we've never seen before, like new and from like Legends, kind of come to like light and stuff, does remind me of like the OG Star Wars trio we see. Like you put someone like Mando with Mara and somebody else, like that's a trio I could see really kicking butt.
But the Filoni movie that's coming could absolutely be a good on bad, light on dark, however you want to perceive that. At which point, maybe Mara's working for Thrawn with these other groups of people, and this is the encounter that introduces that timeline forward, right? I mean, that's the thing, is there's going to be a big event. There's going to be losses on both sides. There's going to be people that turn sides, like happens in every war, in every Star Wars conflict. Look at Callus, look at all of these characters that eventually turn. There's a great opportunity there in Filoni's movie to bring in more of the expanded universe lore, more of the legend stuff, because that's what he's been doing little by little. People are just impatient. People want it their way, right? This isn't Burger King. You don't get it your way. This is Dave's way, right? I mean,
Patience, young Padawans. Patience.
But no one's patient, right? They're gonna, and this is what I've been saying with the sequels for a long time. I think it's gonna age better with time. The more stories told that connect the dots as to why is what, the more it's gonna make sense. The more people are gonna be able to stomach it, right? I'm not saying that it's great and perfect, but at least it'll get to a point where everybody can look at it and be like, okay, it sucks, but it sucks less.
Listen, Charlie, Listen.
I'm not. Just no. Please carry on. Just no.
Sure, but listen. Sure, but listen. Okay, what you pick the name? What name's it gonna take? All right, we're gonna put that name in the temple. Okay, you because this is what fans are doing. They're forcing Disney's hand. We're gonna put whatever name we need to inside that Jedi temple to make you feel bad for Luke. Okay, so. What?
No.
Mara?
I feel like
his unborn child. Like, how far we gotta go?
You've got to be really excited. You've got to be really excited right now, Charlie, that they're
willing to go there.
That they're hitting more world between world stuff. That we could potentially see more Mortis arc.
Let's be real. If we saw Mara Jade show up, it would be in the middle of a fight, saving somebody's ass.
Yeah, and I've said this before. Like, I will go. I'm not going to the hospital again. I value my health.
Right.
But like, unfortunately, when it comes to a certain timeline, I'll just either go back, go around, or go this way. I'm not interested in that. If people enjoy that, dude, please go for it. But just, it's not for me.
Now, are you?
If I get a chance to see, Mara Jade, cool. But the second that it gets to a point where, God, I'm getting a thing in my throat. Just no, politely no.
Are you open? Are you open to sequel characters? Being in projects that are written better. Their characters adding, or things being added to the characters that are written in a, I guess, more true to fashion.
I'm not interested on, man.
All right.
We're with you. So let's segue a little bit and let's talk. I mean, are you excited about any new projects right now, Charlie? Are you pumped on anything that's coming?
God, yeah, man. I mean, like I said, just what we got. Ahsoka. We got. I know. I can't wait.
I love that comment.
Literally,
love
like
that.
within a few weeks, whenever Hayden and everything like that. Um, look, we know he's going to be in it. So just that little. I can't wait just to hear A snips and everything like that, and you see the Force Ghost, and they finally get that little thing because in Book of
Hell yeah.
Don't make me cry.
Yeah, your face is already getting signed. So
I'm
don't worry.
I'm really not excited for that, to be honest.
Really?
The more they try to push that button, the less I like it. I don't want them to have conversations at all. I don't like the idea of Anakin just imparting wisdom randomly, right? Like for me, I think you got to be the quiet kid, and you got to just be there for moral support, because uh the transgressions and the sins that you are forgiven by the Force are not so easily forgiven by the living, right? And I feel like there are um there are barriers. Ahsoka had to give up years of her life to hide from Vader, right? And specifically after they fought. So I feel like there's a lot of, although Ahsoka is the most forgiving of the Jedi, of the Force users out there, I feel like I would like to see that. I would like to see the least amount of that as possible.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
remember, again, not Vader, but just like because the way they did it, because in what Mandalorian season 2, The Apprentice, whenever she comes in, just wreaks havoc. Beautifully shot, beautifully done.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes.
I'll never forget it. She's she's ready to do things and stuff like that. The whole thing with the 50-year-old kid, our baby, fooled by this time. But whenever
this
that
baby?
happens, it's just like
This baby?
yeah, who's older than Din Djarin, who could actually be his dad.
This
It's
baby.
kind of weird. But no, just whenever she does that whole I've seen what such things it can do to a Jedi Knight. It's the best of us.
Right.
Then they fast forward to Book of Boba Fett. Whenever they go see Luke, she's more upbringing, happy, and so much like your father, and it says it in a happier way.
But you don't think that has more to do with Luke than it has to do with, I mean, seeing, knowing how, because they were kids that grew up together, right? A 14-year-old and an 18-year-old growing up together. Those, I feel like it's more in, she's watching Luke teach Grogu and remembers the looks and the mannerisms that Anakin had when teaching her, more than, I just had a talk with your dad. That to me, I'm really hoping that when we see Hayden, it's going to be more in these flashbacks. It's going to be more Hayden in the suit. The less I see of Anakin as a Force ghost, for me, the better. I just don't like that. I don't want those conversations. And with Luke also, I dislike seeing these conversations with Anakin. Yeah, especially. I don't know. It's just something that to me,
man, it's cool. Everybody has their own thing. Like I said, just the same thing with me and the stuff that I will not watch. I'll just stop.
But I'll take it if they give it to me.
But
you gotta do some better de-aging.
I think she would need that. The stuff that Ashley has talked about, the thing that Rosaria talked about, and may or may not have slipped up a couple times.
Do we get an Ashley cameo? Do we get an Ashley cameo or not?
I know she's going to be in it. She did let something out.
That was just like my first thought is like, if
yeah,
we don't give her a cameo in this
I don't
show,
know what it is, but I know she said she filmed something, but she can't say what. So I imagine it's going to be some random person that she like walks by or something like that.
That's totally fine. I think that's kind of well deserved for her though, because it's like you're now bringing such a like infamous character that's voiced by this one person for so long. You know, it's kind of like all the other live actions that Disney has done so far, where it's like you're passing the mantle down to someone else now, but you still want that person to get credit where credit's deserved.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she built the character. I think that's
Yeah.
that's where her legacy lies, right? Is like she built the character over the course of a decade, and unfortunately, she doesn't have the build for it, right? She's a wee lass, right? She's just a
like
little fella, right?
She's like a hobbit. I want to hug her.
Yeah, she's tiny, man. So
I
like,
feel her pain.
unless you're
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, Lanny.
unless you're building this cast with a bunch of shorter people, it doesn't really work, right?
Well,
So
there goes my.
no, they can put you on like apple boxes and high shoes. You're good.
I mean, she
but
kind of has heels on her boots. I think.
right,
it's
see,
okay.
all the time. So you just got to have some high spikes. But ultimately, for me, no one has mentioned, and this is something that I keep harping on. No one has mentioned the young actress that they cast for this from House of Dragons. No one has mentioned
Such a good show.
a single thing about any interviews or any scenes with the young Ahsoka, and the scene we're gonna see with we're gonna see the live action Malachor fight, right? Like, this young woman has so much on her shoulders, and no one is talking about it.
Yeah,
her scenes are going to be the most impactful, right?
Yeah, I don't look at spoilers. Who is playing young Ahsoka from
the I don't know her name, but the sister, she was the daughter of the lady that got burned alive by her dragon.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
The one with the long hair that marries
Yeah.
that marries her
Valerian,
uncle or whatever.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
She is playing young Ahsoka.
Really?
Yes.
that's cool.
So she was cast to play young Ahsoka, and that's what I'm saying is that's who we're gonna see in the World Between Worlds portal.
Good on her.
During that fight, that's what we're supposed to see is her as young Ahsoka, and no one's talking about it. Like, they cast her, and then everybody like shut up about it. And this young woman, Rosario's already done the part. She knows she can do it. She knocked it out of the park.
She knows exactly what's coming.
Yeah.
This young woman has so much pressure on her because young Ahsoka holds such a piece of us in it, right? There's so much of us vested in that young Ahsoka Tano that there's this, not to mention the fighting, the flexibility.
You know who they need to get back? Now that you're mentioning that, they need to get back the girl that did the mocap with Ray Park in the last 4 episodes.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Lauren Mary Kim.
She should be the one fighting Anakin. Hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, is there's going to be so much of this that's not even being mentioned. Everybody is so stuck on the new characters and Ahsoka this and the Inquisitor that. Nobody is talking about that. We haven't seen one lick of footage. We haven't heard one interview. There has been no leaks or spoilers or pictures or nothing. Like, that's crazy to me. That there's not many secrets Star Wars keeps, but the ones they do, they keep real close to the vest, and you never see the good shit coming. I will give you the perfect example. Luke Mando season 2 finale, right? They rope a doped the crew and the cast of the show.
They said Plo Koon is gonna be here.
They sent everybody but the skeleton crew out to shoot something else, to do a pickup or some shit somewhere else without that crew. And then that little skeleton crew shot that, and the stills that they took, they made the Luke actor put the mask on to make it look like if anything got leaked, that would be the leaked photos. They didn't even take set photos those days. Everything was on camera and like under lock and key.
It's literally, even in the season 2 art book, they have no artwork for that finale with Luke.
Right, because
why do you think we even heard anything about Mara Jade? I mean,
dude, and that's why we haven't heard anything about the young woman playing Ahsoka, because all the stuff they keep super quiet and they don't mention is the best shit, right? Like, all of that Liam coming back, that final scene with Kenobi in the desert, right? Like all of that stuff that jerks your heart and that pulls at the strings from the old days. This is what this young woman is going to be doing, right? That fight with Vader is some of the most iconic Star Wars for me, right? Hawks and I were talking about it earlier. Kenobi took the left side of Vader's face in Kenobi before he told him, "See you around, Darth," which was one of my favorite lines in the show.
Favorite line.
Yeah, it's definitely. I love it.
And then you fast forward to Malachor, which was 5 years which was like 2 or 3 years later, and Vader gets his face chopped off by the other side of his heart, right? Like that's the part that got me, is the Anakin sitting in his cage inside of Vader's brain gets a moment of reprieve only when the two pieces of his that make him whole show him a way out for a brief moment, right? Like it was the poetry that went into Kenobi was by Dave and by that cast and crew was amazing, because you can't write it better without telling us what we're seeing, right? We have to interpret what we see in those scenes.
I don't like when movies and like shows give all the exposition away. I think that's like one of the things that I've started to actually like get really frustrated with, is like you go see something nowadays and it's literally like 5 to 10 minutes of the beginning just telling you exactly what's happening right in front of you, and it's like, well, what's the point then?
Right. Well, but that's always been my story with Star Wars. I can't judge a show until the last frame is seen. I can't judge a show in the middle and be like, well, this show sucks because this episode didn't do this. I can't do that. I have to visualize. It's like putting a book down after the first 3 pages. Like, what's the point of even picking it up if you're not going to finish it through? So for me, I loved the Kenobi show. For me, the Kenobi show was some of the, yes, they cheaped out. I'm super bummed that they cheaped out. But you know what? They didn't really cheap out. They kind of screwed themselves out of money, because they shot this whole project once and then it went in the can and they had to start over. So really, they spent more than they really said they spent over the course of the years making this show or movie or whatever it was.
We got Hayden and Ewan back. I don't care.
My only complaint in the whole show, right? I don't air my laundry in public very often. My only complaint in the whole show is you could have de-aged Hayden better. That's the only complaint I had of the whole show, is Hayden looked older than Ewan.
And really, it was only during that one scene when
they were training.
And I understood what they were trying to do. They were probably trying to pull back on that a little bit and let the two of them be there together.
I just think a couple mocap dots don't really change the emotion that those two are feeling being on that saber training together.
Even the way Ewan looked, he looked exactly like I remember him looking.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm just like, that's kind of like why. Just do that for Hayden too.
That's all. And I hope that because they have the ability after the fact to go back and do stuff, right? Like you can't mocap it, but Shamook did Shamook before Shamook was Shamook at Disney, right? So Shamook was doing this stuff on his own without mocap before. So give Shamook like 6 months, de-age Anakin the way you de-aged other stuff. And show us that scene and put that in the movie, right? Or put that in the show. And then all bets are off, because everything else was money in the bank for me.
Yeah, this is how immersed I was in this about everything like that, how much I loved it. I forgot about chat, and I was saying that. I was like, oh man, hey man. But dude, I was so immersed in that, all I seen was Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, man, and just there's no reason for someone to look that damn handsome.
Well,
none. There's none. What the hell?
Like I said, I loved the whole show.
I was just too immersed in that, where I was like, that was all I'd seen.
Yeah, the excitement level for me when those two hit the screen together was just epic, right? For me, it was like being 5, right? It was just amazing to watch these two together, right? But that was my only complaint through the whole show. My favorite scene in the whole show is Vader dragging that dude through the streets and snapping his neck. Like that for me was the Vader. That
Yeah.
Vader was the Vader I always wanted. Right? You show me. You
I
talk about.
remember.
Please.
Yeah, I remember watching. They're doing the watch party of that, and when it, Laney, you were there. I was doing the watch party, and all of a sudden, just that where it's like, oh, this is great. Kuh, like that. Like, oh, whoa!
Our faces were just like,
Well,
just kind of like,
Like, this is awesome. Yes,
and I
I'm
just
sorry about the
like
kids
him
next to
dragging dude through the street by his face.
Yeah.
Right. He's not like dragging him by his way. Like he's dragging him on the ground by his face. Right. Like that was my favorite part, is just you talk about Vader as this feared, menacing man, or this menace through the galaxy. Right. When you see Vader, you know you're fucked. Right.
That's
There's
how
a
it should be
reason
with
why
all
he's
Sith.
the most feared person.
But that's how it is. Like with Vader, the ongoing thing was, even amongst the Imperials, if you see Vader, you're fucked. Right. We saw that in Rebels. They illustrated that brilliantly in Rebels. When Lord Vader shows up, you know you're in trouble. Right. They made him that menacing in Kenobi. When he showed up, the whole town shut down. People cowered, and the people that did try to stand up got their necks broken. Like that's the Vader that I liked. Snapping neck and cashing checks, right? That's the Vader I've always wanted to see, because that's how they made him sound all those years in Star Wars. And finally, we got an opportunity to see him be completely ruthless. The existence of life means dick to him. He wants Kenobi's head on a pike, and that's all he's going to be satisfied with, right? I mean, look, as a martial artist, I'm sure a competitive person appreciates being able to compete against somebody at their peak, right? So for me, the complaints that people had about the scenes with Kenobi and Vader were that Kenobi's running, Vader could have finished it and be done, but Vader doesn't want to fight
I
less
was about
than.
to say, I can go down a whole entire hole of stuff like that, but just white noise everywhere. Just nobody would. Anyway,
Right,
yeah.
but for me,
what
that's
you said. Literally what you said. Obi-Wan at that time period was like, he lived,
right.
so he's just like, oh my
It's like seeing a
god,
ghost. It's like seeing a ghost.
why didn't? Oh man, crap baskets. And just
Crackers
and everything. He wasn't there yet, but just the final thing. Carry on. That's the whole thing.
No, please go ahead. I don't hear this opinion much, but like I said, for me, from a competitive standpoint, I don't ever want to fight a weak opponent, right? I don't ever want to beat up a weak person. if I'm gonna beat your ass, I want to beat your ass at your peak, right? I don't want to kick a downed opponent, right? And that's almost what that felt like, is like Vader's like, this isn't this isn't what I wanted. I wanted you to fight. I don't want you to run. I want you to fight, right? Like, what do I got to do to make you fight?
See, I didn't get that feeling at all.
It was.
Yeah.
He could have finished it at any point. If you're snapping necks down the street, like, couldn't he have finished it at any time he wanted? Really?
You think he could have killed Kenobi at any time he wanted?
Yeah. He drug him through a fire by his face.
He was struggling.
That's how the dark side works, man. That's a lot of people don't think about crap like this. It messes with your mind and everything like that. Plus, after he's seeing this person after 10 years and everything, the entire thing that he's been playing out through his entire head was, oh man, when I see this guy again,
I want to see. This is so weird, but I would totally want to see a Mara Vader fight, only because of Palpatine. Like, there at one point, Palpatine actually like had her spying on him, and she actually was at one point like even supposed to kill him if he showed any sign of like betrayal or anything suspicious towards Palpatine. And I'm like, okay, well, if Palpatine's sending her to fight him, does that make her basically as strong? Like, is he basically hinting that she could take Vader on in a fight?
Well, I mean, Vader was, I mean, as menacing as his was, Vader's greatest asset was his ability to use the Force, even in the diminished capacity. His saber skills were limited at that point because of his inability to raise his arms.
And that's what made him so dangerous.
Right.
He had to readjust his entire lightsaber thing, which add on his mechanical stuff and just use that as well, as long as the Force, and also 80% more, still less powerful, but still at the same time, that's still a good 80%. And being also the chosen one as well.
Yeah, it
Just
just seems
legendary.
like it
Oh,
just
God,
seems
I love
like there's so much.
I love it.
There's so much.
Hand
Look,
of the
I mean,
Hand of the Emperor. Love it.
well, but
I
that's
mean, like they could do it even as a flashback because she had to have trained with him or Palpatine or any of them at some point in her time from even before she became the Hand of the Emperor because she started when she was very, very young.
well, and what
Yes.
would be, I guess, you could have her as because Palpatine kept his secrets everywhere. He had his secret apprentices everywhere,
Contingencies. Is
right?
kind of what I was
Always a
gonna say.
contingency. So
Mhm.
Even with the
to
Mandalorians.
We haven't seen his Vader contingency. We have to assume one exists.
right, we've never seen them. We've known about, obviously
And
there
he
was
knows he's the chosen one. So like Vader's very skeptical. That's why he gifts him the Inquisitors. That's why he gifts him Momin's helmet. Like he's not giving this dude
Oh
gifts.
God, I
He's
love that
testing
arc,
him.
Hawk.
He's
I love that
testing
arc.
him over and over again.
well, no,
So,
he's
I love
screwing
those
with him
gifts.
too. I mean,
Exactly.
the whole Ochi and
Yeah.
and being hunted and not being able to use a
Yeah.
saber, right? Like
He
that
told him he
whole
couldn't use the Force.
thing.
And Vader eventually was just like, I don't care.
He's like,
I don't
okay,
care what
I'll strap
Palpatine
some
says."
techno droid arms and legs on me, and I'll still mess these guys up, right? Like, so it's just for me, it would be great to see her as a hidden assassin, right? To bring in Palpatine and potentially even do we've been talking about this, but Tales from the Sith, right? And that would be another great way to introduce Mara, right? Is that this is somebody you don't really know about. A lot of people didn't know about Yaddle, right? But the
I knew
fandom,
about Yaddle.
Rest
but
in
the
peace.
but the fandom knew about Yaddle, and so they were like, "Yo, the fandom wants this. Let's do this one for the homies." Not to mention the 3 that they gave us from Tales were fantastic. The Dooku arc
God,
totally
yeah.
solidified everything from episode 3.
You
Right?
look
I
at
mean,
Phantom Menace a new way when you're watching it.
you totally do.
After watching those, I went back and like rewatched it and everything like that. Whenever stuff was on, I was like, "Oh my God!" At
Well,
this time period,
Star
Dooku's
Killer was
so-
Vader's contingency. He was not the Emperor's contingency. That was
I
Vader's
will-
plan.
Sam Witwer is an always win for me, Dan.
But again, that's so
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Okay, so Charlie and Lainey are here. We don't get the cool kids to come down and slum very often. So, what are your thoughts on the new Inquisitor? Right, not the new. I still think
Again,
that's the
I
8th.
stay away from most stuff, so you'll have to fill me in on that.
So
Yeah.
there's a photo of the Inquisitor and Ahsoka. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I've seen the trailer.
Okay.
It's
The
like bleach blonde one, right?
no, that's
Or
the
that's okay.
There
I'm
is
missing
a
out on that.
there is a masked human, hand looks like a human with a circular Inquisitor blade and a helmet that we've never
Maybe
seen.
not then.
hold on. I'll pull it.
Brand new Inquisitor we've never seen before.
So they say. I still think that's the 8th brother
Hmm.
from Rebels, but
Yeah, sorry, I was relooking at
okay.
something.
So here it is. Let me share. Let me share now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me present the screen. Okay. So
Gotta love Skynet, right?
this is the
I haven't seen that.
let's make him bigger.
Helmet looks like Snake Eyes a little.
Right. Oh my God.
Someone
Yeah.
tell me that's Ray Park in that outfit.
Ooh.
So this is
Hey,
this is
seriously, I'm not joking. Go back and watch G.I. Joe and tell me that they did not get the inspiration of Kylo Ren from the fact that Ray Park played Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe and
Okay.
looked exactly like Kylo Ren.
okay. Let's
Awesome.
present a better screen because this is a better picture.
Gotta love
Okay.
Skynet, right?
So there you go. So this is the picture of the Inquisitor that is in Ahsoka.
I hate that they're showing that stance and that you mentioned Ray Park now.
I'm serious. If
You
it's
know?
Ray Park, that'd be great.
Like even if it isn't him, even if it's him under the mask and they take the mask off and it's somebody else, I don't care. But that's Ray Park right now until they prove me otherwise.
So
Seriously, it's the stance. It literally does that stance not remind you of the Phantom Menace as him? As Darth
absolutely,
Maul?
absolutely.
He has a certain. Is there a clip that you can play without getting copyrighted if there's a trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can get. Yeah. Let me
Break
get
the
on.
shit
I'm
down.
I'm serious.
Charlie.
What if it really is
break the shit
Yeah,
down.
that's why I want to
please.
like look at this.
It's brief. It's
Because
brief.
he has a
but
very-
it's force
he
pushed
moves
and-
a
Swear
certain
to
way.
God, if Ahsoka comes out and
All right,
I
hold
end
on.
up being right, someone owes me money.
All right. Let's see.
If it doesn't get you copyrighted,
It's a brief moment.
It'll
no,
be
we should
fine.
be able
It
to
won't.
watch
We've watched this trailer a dozen times on channel. And
Maybe I didn't
God.
just
Okay.
didn't notice it in the trailer.
Oh my God, that's right out of Rebels.
So yes, dude, this if you haven't seen this trailer, you're gonna shit. This is a good trailer.
Yeah, stuff.
Can you guys hear it or no?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear
you're
it.
good.
Okay, good. I was just making sure because my settings are set for gaming.
It's been a while. Things have changed. I started hearing whispers about Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
I love that she
We have to
says
prepare for
it.
the worst.
I know, right?
The
Chopper.
Jedi fell a long time ago. There aren't many left.
Perhaps it is time to begin again.
Ahsoka, original series streaming August 23rd.
That was a TV spot. We
we-
didn't see her penetrate the
Did
droid
we
armor like that.
Miss it or something?
No, this
Because
isn't the
that
full trailer.
There's another
Okay.
one. Hold on. Let me go back. Hold on.
I was gonna say I've
Okay.
seen that trailer, and I love that she says
This
heir
is
to
it. This
Empire
is the one because this is the
specifically.
one that has Galen.
Yeah, it has.
This is it.
Ray
This is the one that has-
Ray Stevenson.
Okay. Rest in peace.
For others, power.
Moves good. God, that's great.
It's been a while. Things have changed.
Dan and the Santos kid. Oh,
We have to prepare for the worst. The Jedi fell a long time ago. There aren't many left.
oh my God.
There.
Yeah, I see it. I'm
Can you go
telling you.
back?
I'm telling
I will.
you.
I will. I'm gonna
Slow
let it
down.
finish.
Simulation voice in the Clone Wars season 2. Okay.
So we see
Right when it gets to
I would
Yeah, show him that
One-
move right there.
show the move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm
It-
gonna slow it
yeah,
down.
slow,
Hold on.
slow it
Yeah.
down, please.
I'm gonna
Thank
slow
you.
it down to 25%. Hold on.
This is what we do here, guys. Like the stream, please.
I'm trying to.
There you go.
I made one comment, and now it's like investigation time, people.
Okay. Full screen.
I gotta know. I need answers. Oh, 100%.
Oh my
that's him.
God.
100% that's him. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. I'm
That
100%
move
calling it. Right now,
Is
I think it's him.
notorious because
Laney's
God.
like,
That-
hold on. I gotta do it. Laney's like,
Well, no, because
I know that ass, girl. I know that Ray Park ass, okay?
no, that
It's
he does a certain
It's
move.
not that Ray Park ass, it's that Ray Park height. I know how tall that guy is.
He does a
Fox is-
certain yeah,
Fox
I
is
get it. Yeah.
dead. I
Certain
feel-
move
oh
where
my
he goes
God.
one,
Stand.
turns, two, and then comes back. But the way she stopped
girl,
it,
look at
like,
that ass. Look at
one-
that ass. Boom, bubble butt,
Two.
bubble butt.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
So-
just
Well, you
looking at
guys
the
let
height
Charlie
difference.
focus, please.
Sorry,
No, no,
Charlie.
no,
Go
no.
ahead. Go ahead. Lay it down for us, Charlie. My
No,
apologies.
okay, so
I'm having too much fun. Here, I'll mute this.
One-
so
Yeah,
that-
Chaz requesting a mute there.
1, 2. So before he gets
Hold on.
back to the hill.
That. And then as he's turning it back, he gets
Yeah,
pushed.
he does a certain move even in Phantom Menace and the motion capture of whenever he did season 7. He did the same move, except for he doesn't get a chance to complete this and before Ahsoka does that, which would make sense because, but again, this could be awesome like simulation, but that's 1,000% one of his moves. I know those moves anywhere. I've watched them so many times. Just left,
So-
right, turn.
Okay.
So
back,
to kind
down.
of like poke some holes, though, also,
So-
Charlie, is it not possible that Inquisitors, because they have a dual blade, are all trained within that same style?
That
And
mall.
it would
that
feel
mall.
similar
Like,
He,
style.
I don't
wouldn't they
know.
use holograms of Maul like they did, like Anakin
Well-
did in the pits to train? Like,
So-
this is the best dual yielding saber technique ever. Maul was a master of it. Here's how you should be training, right?
Because I mean, yeah, because Anakin got that whole thing from Obi-Wan. It's like, where did he learn that?
Dude,
And,
this is the story I want. The
so
Inquisitors.
whenever he, goes to that, comes Vader, does the just becomes a Full Metal Jacket like drill sergeant, and just buries this stuff into everybody, even the Grand Inquisitor whenever he's fighting Kanan, just by one move. Like, oh, you train with Jedi Master Deba Balava. What? She
Right.
always required on.
She was very highly. You lean on Form 3 to an absorbent amount, right?
He would have taught them like everything when it comes to that, also cutting off their hands and other parts. But
how are you going to learn? That's how you learn, Charlie.
Loss.
Get your hands cut off, hands and legs.
I mean, that's how Vader did his stuff. You messed up, then you're dead.
That was actually one of the crazier parts of that whole moment arc with them, is that Vader believed to truly connect to the dark side, the most self-loss a person could feel is, or the greatest loss you can feel is loss of self. That's why he literally took a piece of every one of the Inquisitors to help them connect further into the dark side. It's crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, look, it's something like.
Thank you, by the way. Sorry about that.
But I mean, look, this. So here's where we were going. Here's where I was going with this. Before I shut this down completely. So this.
The side by sides of Ray Park's ass and that Inquisitor.
How'd you know that's where I was going, dude? Come on, get out of my head. All right. So there are. Let me go back to that other photo before I.
That's Star Wars ass.
That's Star Wars ass. So is this? There have been a couple speculations out there already. Now I am of the school that this could be the eighth brother. We see him fall on Malachor at the temple. He goes to spinny helicopter his lightsaber away, and it malfunctions, and he falls.
People love that.
Is this the eighth brother? The helmet is very similar. People are saying this could be a Star Killer.
I would love a simulation, because that droid was from season either 2 or 3. It was whenever they went to
both
Ilum, and Honda came around, and because Gunji was making like the stuff and everything, and he has like all this stuff.
Yes, that is the Sabersmith. That is the droid Sabersmith from the Old Republic. Yes.
Okay, so if that's the same one from Ahsoka since back in the day and everything, and he just what was it? He said, yes, maybe it's time to begin again. I would love if this was like an entire simulation, and just training and doing stuff like that, and then just I don't know, that'd be a perfect thing. Just have Sam Witwer's what's it? It doesn't have to be anybody specific or anything like that, but just going through certain stuff, because if I remember right,
I'm down with this, Stanley. I'm 100% of this school.
Maul killed them all.
Maul didn't get a chance to kill the eighth brother because he tried to fly away and he fell. But Ahsoka fell off the pyramid and lived.
The one that his thing fell.
Yeah, he's the one.
He might be dead.
But I mean,
the thing blew up. But we'll see. Whatever.
Force users have the ability to stop their falls. One of the big things Ahsoka, we can go on. A lot of them survive these large falls. I'm a big fan of Mace Lives, so because I want to see him in Boba Fett season 2 or in the finale of Kenobi season 2. But moving forward, they're saying this could be Star Killer. They're saying this could be the eighth brother. They're saying this could also be Darkseid Ezra.
The second part. Oh god, that's frightening. Yeah,
this could be Darkseid Ezra because
he was always drawn to that, and
he was always a little drawn to the dark
didn't
side.
help things.
And he
thing
was stuck
about
with Thrawn, and
the
then
thing,
Thrawn is very persuasive.
yeah, he doesn't know how like that
Yo,
stuff works.
pause.
You
Did Reva have a helmet?
No.
No,
We
I don't
never
think she
saw.
did. No, she
So
did.
she never
so
had.
we never saw Reva's helmet. She was let go. Did
No.
her saber ever get destroyed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Vader
yes.
broke
Okay.
it
Yes,
Vader
in
broke
yes,
it in
it
half.
was. I
Okay.
remember now. Yeah.
Because I actually really
I
like
had to think
that.
from that.
Like I
You
actually
like-
Yeah, to
would
think
like
because
Look,
if
bro.
Ahsoka met her, bro. Like,
Look, bro, there's no boob armor.
oh,
There's no boob armor.
Huh?
the bro dude's got me there.
The bro dude's got you. There's no boob armor. So bro dude's got you.
It's not
but-
the Bo-Katan chest plate.
Not the
Sorry.
Bo-Katan chest plate. No. So
Forgot.
yeah, is this Ezra? Is this Star Killer? Is this the eighth
That's awesome.
brother? These are the questions that keep us up at night.
my question is, what is the bad stuff that Ahsoka's talking about exactly that's coming? Because if so now that we're getting Thrawn and she's saying heir to the Empire and stuff, my guess is this is where, that too, it's going to start the crossover, and this is probably going to be where Luke starts to get mentioned again, because Thrawn be hunting that hoe right now.
Well, yeah, I mean Thrawn, you know, that's the thing is we know this is a quest for Ezra, but ultimately does that quest for Ezra lead us to to Luke? I mean, this is after the Empire's down, so Luke is out in the galaxy running around, running amok.
But the reason I say that is because considering how things ended with season 2 of Mando and then going into Book of Boba Fett, yes, he is running around, but he's also running around looking for other Jedi.
Well, he's building his temple. He's not really running around looking for Jedi. He just felt Grogu, right? Like Grogu called out. He wasn't really. He's more building his temple at this point because he doesn't have students. Grogu, this is where the controversy comes out. Is Kylo's supposed to be his first student, right? So that's why Grogu
That's
really
what doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, okay, Kylo's your first student, but that means how many years are we going to be waiting before that happens?
Well, I mean, at this point, we could see a young Kylo. At this point, I mean, this is
maybe
this is many years after the Empire, right? The Empire is in shambles. We could see a little Leia. I'm sorry, a little Kylo running around, not necessarily full like ready to go chart training, but we could see that here coming in shortly. Like this is about the time where if he's going to take on a pupil, he's going to take on.
Isn't Mando only 5 years after Return of the?
5 to well, when we see Luke, it's like at that point it's like 6 or 7, because it started at 5 years after.
They gotta be better about explaining the time.
No, they did. Basically, Favreau came out and said it.
I know they said the 5 years, but they didn't really say how long it had been between
Yeah, Favreau came out and did some interviews. He kind of sniped at one of the reporters about it. He had a real disgusted look on his face, but basically he was saying that 5 years is where we first see Din Djarin,
right?
And then after Luke takes him, it's a 2-year gap.
So between season 2 and season 3, it's a 2-year gap.
Yes, because it's a 1-year gap to Book of Boba, where he takes him his chainmail, and then there's another year before he goes to meet him on.
Yeah, that's something I feel like they should have done better at explaining, because when they
in the show, not in the movie.
In the show, because in the show they make it seem like it had been way less time than that. Because Mando's obviously going to go visit him and stuff. They make it seem like it's been like a few months.
No, so the distance between the time Luke takes him and Book of Boba is a year. He's had him for a year. Because I going into this whole training thing during Mando season 3 is to why is he trained so shitty? Why doesn't he use any of his abilities? And then we finally start to see his abilities.
Yeah.
But he's got him for about a year till Book of Boba. And then when we see him return, when we see him with Mando, it's been another year. So that's there. It's at this point, it's 7 years. So when is Kylo's birth?
Yeah.
Like how old is Kylo? Like when is
The
he born?
book, the book Bloodlines, if anyone has read that, will put a good image in your head of the timeline because Leia is pregnant during that time with him, and she's also feeling the presence of Palpatine / Snoke during that time. But I mean, we are, like you said, even a couple of years after everything was peaceful, that's when Han and Leia felt comfortable enough to have a child. So you got to think about like where the state of the galaxy right now that we're in is still a
it's
little
like
volatile.
toddler.
So
It's
to
like
me, it sounds like he would just be like born
toddler
like,
or toddler, like very little, under 2.
So he's not exactly at the point of going to train
Right.
yet, probably.
So I mean, it's down the road, but I mean, this whole, like Scotty and I were talking earlier, the timeline's tough.
Yeah.
Because they don't illustrate time very well in the series, and
But that's also on purpose.
I mean,
yes.
I could
They don't
see
want us to
them.
sit here and
I
talk
could
about
see.
like
It's like
this.
being in the
switching
casino. They don't
it.
want you to have clocks on the wall. They don't want you to see what time it is, right?
Right. I mean, I could see them still writing it off as like Kylo still being like the first like official like student of his temple, and Mara being more of a student of his own, like personal.
Well, and that's how Grogu
I like
was.
that too.
Grogu was not a student of his temple because his temple wasn't built.
Right.
Right. His temple was still being made by the silly androids. But
Dr.
but it was-
Giro?
huh?
I mean,
By the silly androids. But you know, it's several years since, you know, that until he's going to have a formal array of students.
Mhm.
Grogu was a personal choice to take on. So yeah, there's a lot of time that's in this that we need. I wish they would suss it out more. What sucks is you can't see the growth in Grogu. That's the part that really makes it difficult. You can see the growth in everybody else, right? If there's younglings around, you could see the growth in a humanoid youngling. With Grogu, that's a 50, 52, 53-year-old guy there looking like he's 5. So it doesn't really help that he's got young man syndrome.
And
But
he still hasn't talked.
I mean, he tried to in season 3.
tried.
It was adorable. You know, This Is the Way was absolutely adorable. If they don't make a plush doll that does
love
this,
Grogu.
where is it? They don't do that shit.
No.
That was one of my favorite.
No.
That's one of my favorite. The whole I enjoyed the season. It caught a lot of crap because it was a little slappy and fun, but I thought it was amazing.
I enjoyed it. It was different than the other 2 seasons, and right now I think it's like the way they ended it gives them the perfect kind of break for now to go in and start writing the rest of their stuff, not only for the other shows, but now to start connecting it to this show.
What the part that bothers me is all of the shows that I love through time have ended abruptly, right? All of my favorite shows have always ended. I mean, all of them. And so for me, this was almost a perfect ending to this show, right? Are we going to see a Mando season 4, or are we going to get a movie and that's what's being shot now, right? Like that's the stuff that concerns me is this the end of The Mandalorian as a series? Because they Andy Griffin that last scene. Dad and son are sitting at the pond fishing.
And
right? That Mickey Mouse shit. That Mickey
plan.
Mouse shit. Don't get me started. You'll have me like Charlie going to the hospital. Don't get me started on that shit with the Beirut. Don't do it.
That wasn't even really like what they planned either. And I think even at Celebration, they were still saying like, you know, it's going to be a while, but they really do want to try to do more seasons. It's just kind of like with everything that happened during the time they were trying to shoot this season kind of made it a little difficult.
It just seems like a good ending.
Yeah.
Right. It seems like a perfect ending to the show. My time with Grogu is basically the show. I went on a bounty. I fell in love with a kid. The kid's mine now. I got the papers. He's adopted. He's officially mine. We're on our retirement property fishing. Like that's the
I feel
story.
like they pulled a Marvel when they did it, like with Loki and Guardians. They're like, these people will return in this year, and I feel like that's kind of what they did with that at the end. They just didn't have to put it like on a subtitle saying oh, Mando will return in this, but you kind of can figure it out.
Well, yeah, and that's the part I didn't really care for is like especially the ending with the circle, the Mickey Mouse circle. Like that really got under my skin. I didn't like that. It felt a little too Disney for me.
Oh,
But
gimmicky.
yeah, I mean that's not my thing. But yeah, it seems to me like that they could literally hang up the helmet right now, not fight the battles with Pedro Pascal because he's the busiest man in Hollywood right now.
We stand him.
You know,
Lane,
and
I'm so glad you've seen that movie, by the way. No worries. We'll talk
what's
later.
that?
Oh, I watched
Oh.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent like a couple
Best
weeks ago.
comedy movie ever.
But
Carry on,
but
sorry.
they could hang it up, man. They could be done with the Mandalorian as a whole, and start focusing on Ahsoka, Acolyte, Skeleton Crew moving forward into the Mandoverse movie, which all of these characters are going to play a part in.
Hey, so real quick, while you're mentioning that, you were going to touch on the fact that Boba was supposed to be the Mandalorian series before Boba Fett show or something. Dale had mentioned that, and you
So
were going to talk about.
Well, we will. Yeah.
Hmm?
So I don't. Let me see the comment. Dale, what was he saying? He was going.
It's
Dale,
way the hell back. I
do
ain't
you
gonna
remember
find
your
it.
comment earlier? I should have.
I think verbatim he said that Boba was supposed to be the Mandalorian series before it was Boba Fett.
I did
Book
hear
of Boba
that.
Fett.
Like it was
supposed to be
a show,
about Boba.
and then it turned into something else.
Right.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna find Dale's
Wow.
comment right now. Okay, Boba became the Mandalorian series before the Book of Boba. Okay. Now here's the thing. Boba was supposed to be a movie initially.
Mangold. Yes.
Boba was supposed to be a movie before any of this stuff, before Book of Boba, before all of that. Boba was supposed to be an anthology, and it was going to go Solo, Boba, Kenobi. Those were supposed to be the movies. Man, you got a sandwich for me?
Is that why
you got a sandwich? You got a sandwich for me?
See, guys, I'm gonna give you the tea. The reason
I want to know. You got a sandwich for me?
It's because I don't eat on obsessions.
That's it. He ain't got no sandwich for me.
It was fake. I don't got no sandwich. That's what I used to. As a matter of fact, no. Hold up. Wait.
He's like, wait a minute. I might have a steak cooking. Hold on. Yeah, I might have a steak cooking.
Some food.
So I actually got some French fries with cheese, but no, I do have a thingamajig, a breakfast sandwich, but it's in the freezer.
You awesome. What's up, my guy? How you doing?
Oh man, life is too good right now.
Oh, don't say that too loud. The universe likes to slap people when they say that shit too loud.
Bro, did you not hear the good news?
No, you've been MIA.
Oh,
we haven't streamed in a while. I took some time off in May, and
right.
And then I came back and haven't done a stream with the homies in a while. So I figured, it's Friday, ain't got no job, ain't got shit to do. Might as well hang out with the homies.
Seriously, this is the first time I'm like alone.
So what's up, Dan? Preach.
Contact. So can I get the screen?
You can have the whole thing all to yourself.
Get it. So
Seriously, you're good.
Boom. I'm finna sound like a whole crackpot, but I don't care.
Do it, girl.
Right? Listen. So your boy's been doing some research, man. And last week there was reports about the aliens have hit Las Vegas.
Uh-oh.
Bro, Gen Z is finna be the first human contact to discover, like, we're gonna see aliens in our lifetime. They're saying that how'd it go? It was pretty much like after the family had found aliens in their backyard, this government official, David Gersh, had found, like, he basically is exposing the government.
The whistleblower?
Yeah, him. Yep. I seen that 10 days before the family dropped the info about him exposing the government about spacecrafts in the military right now. I'm just like, yo, I'm on my, like, this is wild as hell right now. I'm on my sci-fi wave right now.
Now, let me ask you. Let me ask you. Do you honestly believe
Mhm.
before this came out
Mhm.
that the human race was arrogant enough to believe that we were the smartest creatures in the entire universe?
For a second there.
Are you I like you, Dan. Are you that arrogant as a human being to think that you are the smartest thing in the entire universe?
When did Dan ever say that he was?
No, but I'm saying, like, damn, dog. I've thought that since the first time I saw Star Wars. I was like, I know there's more people out there. We're just too dumb, ignorant, and fight with each other too much for them to come say hi.
Right.
Like,
it's like, we'll go over it. Man, these guys, I don't know about these guys.
we're
They're
like a
doing weird
reality
stuff.
show, my guy. We're like the Kardashians of the
They didn't like
universe.
the
Dude.
dyad?
They watch
What the
us
hell?
for TV, bro.
Dan, I'm gonna say it
Jeez,
right now.
bro.
Growing up, the only things I enjoyed watching was Ghost Adventures, The X-Files, and anything that had to do with that stuff.
Didn't you read? If you didn't read, because I'm not a reader, I'm awful at reading. But did you not watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes.
We are a reality show for the universe, my guy. Have you not seen it, Dan? It's worth a watch.
really haven't.
It's
Rick
slap,
and Morty
it's
is like
slap
my one
happy as
thing.
shit. It's a silly ass movie, but it's really like, if you're a person that really enjoys the idea of outer space and the idea it's a really good watch. If you're
I
not interested
genuinely
in reading,
believe that aliens have helped us with so many things, and we just
bro,
don't
if you
know
don't
it.
think, listen. All right, we're gonna go off topic for a minute. Dan decided to come in at the 2-hour mark and completely derail Star Wars. So welcome to the here. I'm gonna
Alien conspiracy theory.
We might meet.
Thought you ought to know.
All right, we're done. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, if you honestly believe that a bunch of Muggle humans in the old days, way back in Egypt, built these big ass pyramids with their hands and feet, you are out of your goddamn mind.
That's
What did I
Bro.
just? I just watched.
Went to Egypt, bro.
I just watched Ghostbusters Afterlife yesterday, and there is literally a part of the script that the daughter in the movie literally is having a conversation with her friend about that exact thing you're bringing up. Who do you think built the pyramids in Egypt? And she said her answer was, I don't know, slaves. And the guy looks at her like,
aliens, man.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Look, throughout time. Okay, so I'm a big nerd. All right, I don't claim to be anything else but a gigantic fucking nerd. For me, Star Wars is like pinnacle nerd, right? But if you really break down my nerdiness, my ultimate nerd card is I'm a huge Stargate lover. Okay, like that is my nerd trump card. Is that no one's really like a Stargate nerd like I am, right? And for me, the reason I like that show so much is that's exactly the premise of the show, is that the gods that the Egyptians worshipped were just aliens that had better technology, and that's what made them gods. Today, if you and I went back in time to 150 years ago and we hung out and talked on our cell phones, they would think we were gods, right? If I did this shit right now, watch, I'm gonna do some shit, right? If I did this right now around a bunch of people 150 years ago, I would be a god, right? So there is this whole premise of a show that is basically that the aliens came to Earth because we were such a workable force, so to speak, and that they were gods and helped build the pyramids. They were also Babylon. They were also Atlantis is a real thing. Like for me, these are all my nerd qualities, and I love that stuff. So that you're telling me this alien thing, I've always been big on aliens. I've always believed that there's no way we're alone.
Well,
there's no way. We're just too uncivilized for them to come and hang out with us.
It shouldn't be a shock because we're all Star Wars nerds anyway. So this is pretty much a no-brainer where the next step of our friendship would take us. Interstellar travel. I would go to space with. Oh no, where are you at? There you go. I would go to space with any one of you folk up here as part of my squad. Yes, I'm taking everybody up here. We're gonna fight the aliens together. Let's.
I mean, we ain't got to find nothing, dude. We're a reality show for them. They
Yeah.
come down.
Are
They come
you
down and
really friends with them?
they
They're
come
the
down.
ones that lost the bet. That was in this footage. They're the ones that lost the bet. They're like, all right, who's gonna go down? We'll draw straws.
Steve, I've been to Area 51. It is real.
Look,
Okay.
I know people. Look, in my past, I knew people who worked at certain establishments that were not supposed to be real. I
should
knew.
look at my hat now. Actually,
I knew. Like
Do
for
it.
me, this is nothing. This is
Oh,
nothing
okay.
new.
Did you guys talk about Bob Lazar yet?
the human? We could talk about Bob. I love Bob.
Oh, yeah, the OG. Yeah.
Element 13 or whatever the hell.
Yes,
Said
sir.
he said he like literally touched it or couldn't touch it. Like he
And
has
then,
seen the spacecrafts, looked inside them.
Well, it's amazing how the human race
Oh,
went
man.
from flying prop planes
We also
to
gotta bring
find
up,
jet engines in the span of what, like 50 years or less?
and then
It was uncanny.
I mean, we're good at blowing shit up.
Well, I mean, look, Roswell. I know people who have told me stories about them being abducted and crazy shit. Look, I've lived in Nevada a long time.
Out,
The heat-
out in Vegas, Nevada,
the heat gets to people, but Bob Lazar has been a big person in this. Area 51 isn't even Area 51 anymore. Area 51 is a tourist attraction. At a girl, Laney. Area 51 isn't even. No, I was trying to make you big. Hold on, I was trying to make you big.
my hat.
There
I
we
got
go.
this. So if you guys remember, like this Facebook group or like post or whatever that went viral with like millions of people wanting to storm Area 51.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God, yeah, that was.
I got this like 6 months before that happened, so I swear I am not a fake fan.
Oh,
Just
she
want to
real OG.
bring that up.
Yeah.
I went and there's a brothel right next to the gas station.
Bruh.
Good old 2019.
Welcome to Nevada. Prostitution is still legal there.
Yeah.
Being honest.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
You don't say that. There's children watching the stream.
So aliens.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Get back to the aliens.
Aliens.
Alien prostitution.
But the guy said that there's like we had a government program to recover alien crafts. There's like a secret group of people that are recovering the crafts.
Right.
So, and that we successfully have, apparently.
And
that's what the whistleblower is saying.
The president
I believe that whistleblower
will unveil this information to the public in the summer is the word. We also have my other guy, Michael Shannonberger, who is this author who's reported things on COVID to the shit going on in Congress to the 12 spaceships that the military are hiding right now. It's all there, documented, ready to be seen by us, the public eye.
That's crazy.
You know, and I'm like, the fact that there's that could be a real Star Wars out there is fascinating to me.
Hell yeah, brother.
Meet the real Mara Jade, you know.
Also, Laney.
What if they all just come here and then when they open their ships, the oxygen kills them, like in War of the Worlds?
I was thinking about Mars Attacks for some reason.
Like War of the Worlds,
right?
If there's aliens really out there that are smarter than us, then they should be smart enough to know
Exactly.
what
Like I said, they had to be the poor ones that draw. They're like,
well,
all right, who lost the bet? Who's going down there? I'm not going down there. Okay, we'll draw.
Have you seen what they do to new things? I'm not going down there.
Yeah, those guys are crazy.
Brian, just get in the airlock.
Here's Brian. Brian, get in there, Brian. Here's the thing I'm most excited about. For me, the idea of aliens is great. All jokes aside, but for me, the idea of intergalactic space travel is the thing that I find the most appealing from getting visited by aliens, right? The technological advancements that they can give the people that are already smart enough in the room that understand what they're talking about, like Musk, like the scientists at NASA, so on and so forth, giving us an idea of what, you know, a more expanded universe for us, understanding. I mean, look, we just found water I'm sorry, all of the fundamental building blocks of life on one of Saturn's moons. Right? Like there is
Aren't
so
we
much.
doing that for Mars too?
Right.
No, like they found phosphorus, they found sulfur.
Well, no,
they found...
I know. I know. I'm saying, aren't they also trying to get people sent to Mars though, because they found like frozen ice
the
or
problem
something?
the problem with Mars is that it's too far away. With our current travel capabilities, it's too far away, right? The human body can't exist in space for that long. We weren't designed
for that one.
to be in space. So after 2 years of being away, you can never come back. That's the problem. Your bones become too brittle and your body will literally pancake.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think that's kind of the point.
But
yeah, you're going, you're not coming back.
Yeah, you're never
like, you're signing basically the rest of your life away in the name of science.
You're starting the Mars Federation.
It's a one-way trip. Great. Bye.
Matt Damon joke.
The Expanse. Anybody watch The Expanse?
But ultimately, like for me, it's the idea of space travel and more rapid space travel, right?
You're all
like
killing my Mass Effect dreams right now. I want to travel so bad.
Our current propulsion capabilities are elementary compared to anything that could travel here from another planet, right? Like that's the part that excites me about it. Also, the only thing that will ever unite humanity and will get us to put away our petty differences of color, race, creed, and religion is going to be the existence and the visual sight of an extraterrestrial. Then we're Earthlings.
Yeah,
then
another planet to conquer.
Another.
I mean, say just pray to God, not Independence Day move.
Yeah, good luck.
Even still, like having humanity be a part of this type of interstellar community is like, what? You're saying that you wouldn't want to be a part of like a committee of different species learning shit from each other that's already out there?
But here's the thing you got to think about
to be a part of that.
Extraterrestrials were infants, right? To people that have the intelligence to bend space or travel through hyperspace, to them, our minds, our brains are infants.
Sure,
right?
But maybe not all of them think that way. Maybe that's why you keep hearing stories about so many aliens coming to keep coming to Earth, because maybe there are some that do believe in humanity's potential.
I mean, if you really want to get into conspiracies and stuff, the lizard people are slowly making our Earth more nitrogen based so that they could come and take over. So how do we know it's not some of those folks?
It could be.
Y'all gotta watch Inside Job if you haven't already.
But ultimately, the idea of
what'd you say, Lane?
Y'all gotta watch Inside Job if you haven't already.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna add that to the X-Files.
It's on Netflix. I
the
X-Files.
The X-Files were twisted, man. I mean, in one X-File arc, there was that cancer was a controlled disease.
No.
Like,
I'm obsessed with the X-Files.
The X-Files, there were some twisted arcs, man. The Cancer Man was a big one. Like,
isn't Ryan Coogler doing a reboot?
They were supposed to be doing a reboot. Yeah,
they had it back in 2017, 18, where they did like a new season or
did they?
2 new seasons. Yeah, like they brought them back and rebooted it.
Nice.
But then they basically just ended the show after that.
Well, did it end on did they know they were going to end or no?
It's kind of a back and forth thing even now, if they're even going to bring it back or not. Like, I think when they ended it, they weren't really 100% sure. So I don't know.
Okay.
It's kind of been in talks over the last few years of whether or not it's going to come back again or not.
But I mean,
isn't it going to be someone crazy? Like, man, hold on. I dropped the name. I'm going to get it in a minute. Blow your minds here. Hold on.
Ready.
He just did that alien flick out in Nevada.
Jordan Peele?
Oh.
Yes. Wasn't he's supposed to do stuff like this X-Files remake and he's getting into the weird shit.
He did the Twilight Zone.
He did.
That's what it was.
He did the Twilight Zone reboot. But I'm someone who grew up on the original Twilight Zone, 1960s and 50s and things like that. So I will always and forever love the original Twilight Zone for the stuff they did in that time. That's the third reboot they've done of that. That's the no second reboot they've done of that show, because they had one in the early 2000s, and then this would be the next one they did.
Dan, who's this?
That is the eighth brother and Starkiller. I believe that the eighth brother was a Starkiller the whole time.
Is that so? Starkiller got his ass kicked by a group of novices. Cool story.
Yeah. It's not. It's not the Force Unleashed Starkiller. It's
but
Disney Starkiller. So.
Could this be Ezra?
No.
Okay.
I think Ezra is in the New Beyond, waiting to get rescued.
So Thrawn got away, but he didn't.
Yeah. Well, no. More like Ezra chose to stick around and help the people of the New Beyond while he let Thrawn get away.
Oh,
so pretty much, it's in a way Ezra's fault that Thrawn is around, but he did it for the bigger good. Maybe he's fending off the Yuzon Bong or whatever, but Ezra did it because Ezra had his reasons.
Okay. So, on the last subject of the evening, I'm gonna rewind a little bit. So, how does everybody feel about the delays that we are going to incur in all new content at this point, being 50 days into a writer's strike? Like, this is putting every show on the back burner and delaying everything. I have a large feeling this is why Ray's movie got pushed to 2026, is that they can't even get writers in a room right now to do any kind of writing. So anything that's not already out is basically on hold. How does this fare for anything? Like, I mean, it affects everything. Look, I'm a big fan of certain weekly talk shows on Friday nights that are not on right now because there's no writers to write scripts for monologues and such. So
it sucks because I was reading something earlier I saw on Facebook about Deadpool 3. Basically that they were looking to actually push the date up for release rather than back, due to the fact that Ryan Reynolds, being one of the writers, he's primarily known for improv, and with this writer strike, this really does screw up that movie, because Deadpool has always been improv. It's always been that way because that's what made it so funny. That is who Ryan Reynolds is. So if we're strictly going to go by script and that's what is making them push the release date up, I am a little concerned because, they can't go back and do reshoots. If there's scenes that don't fit, they either have to wait and just push it back, or they're going to have to work with what they've got.
Yep. Yeah, this is a personal thing for me because this puts film work off the table. This puts commercial work off the table. This puts a lot of dollars and cents in people's pockets more than anything, and feeds families that are not getting fed because there's a strike. Now, look, I'm fully supportive of whoever, if you're organizing and you get you and you do you, right?
Right.
We had to go through this with the unions in last year. DGA has gone through things like this before. So the Writers Guild is just, there's a lot going on, especially with AI. There's a lot of potential for lost jobs, proofreading and such, for these people that are also, I mean, it's not just about the little stuff we hear about. There's a lot more involved. But ultimately, right, I think everybody's saying that, well, this is what Disney does. Well, this is now 2 months into a writer strike, and that pushes the timeline that these people were supposed to be in the lab creating these shows for us. So for me, it's kind of it kind of sucks on multiple angles because it pushes all the shows we love back because no one's able to get in a room, but it also takes money away from the people that I surround myself with in my professional life. So
right, it's kind of a lose-lose situation either way, because it's like, yeah, it sucks that they're like things are going to get pushed back, but at the same time, I'd almost rather it be pushed back until something is done, because you don't want to sit there and, like I said, work with what you've got and rush something to get out. And it could have been done a lot better had they just waited.
Right. Well, and like I said, I think a lot of projects get, some projects that are already maybe in shooting are just continuing to shoot on what they have. They might go back and do, but again, think about Ahsoka. Rey passed away right after they're pretty much done. They had any pickups or any lines they wanted to redo or anything like that, you're shit out of luck, right? So think about that as far as like just people are concerned, right? If they're in the midst of shooting a show and something happens to one of the actors while they're on strike, guess what? You're fucked. Like, back to the drawing board. Let's start over.
Not to go there, but like every other day, there's allegations coming out. So,
bro,
all these actors are like in
Ezra,
now.
the dude that played Kang, Conor McGregor at the NBA Finals 4. Like, there's allegations of people doing wrongdoings everywhere. How long? Ezra Miller, right? Since the Flash came out yesterday.
I just watched the Flash today.
Me too.
God dang it, Lane! I'm so jealous. I want to see Michael Keaton again.
It was so good, dude. Michael Keaton was so good.
I will say this too right now. If Ezra Miller didn't have all those allegations, I would say that performance was actually like hands down amazing.
I mean, look, don't take away from the work because the person sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a lot of that happens in the world. Like, the person outright
sucks.
And yes,
I will enjoy it.
I'm not enjoying anything that he does. I'm not pro, but I'm saying take the body of work as a body of work, not by the person that puts it out there. And the performance was pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, the movie itself, like, I'm not a huge DC person, but in the last like few movies I've watched, because I watched Shazam recently too. I watched both of them and I enjoyed those ones. And seeing this one, I was like,
have an aneurysm.
Yeah, I was like, okay, DC, y'all are starting to come back. Okay.
They're trying real hard. Unfortunately, this movie just undid a decade of work, so now it's like
it had to make way for
the
so
like, don't get me wrong, I like Momoa, but like Aquaman Momoa is like some fire. I'm sorry, like he made Aquaman look cool, bro. If Aquaman's been the cosmic joke of the DC universe for
bring him back as Lobo. Bring Jason Momoa back as Lobo.
That's what I was being heard.
Oh, you can stamp that. That's happening,
bro.
You know what I mean?
Keaton
you
was
can send that to the bank.
Honestly, Keaton was amazing.
God dang it!
Just start watching the beginning of that.
Keaton was amazing.
That's not a spoiler, by the way.
Okay,
no, that's not a spoiler. I'm not spoiling.
That's
nothing.
my most hype thing. I've been waiting to see that man as Batman for since I was a kid.
Michael Keaton in the suit again was
we got to move on.
Literally took me back to when I was a little kid, man.
That was my first Batman.
Me too. That was my first Batman, bro. And
me and my dad went to go watch it together, and I was like super excited because I was like, okay, this is like a fun moment for me and my dad, because now it's like, oh my gosh, all this nostalgia is happening at once.
Dude, Tem was in it.
Yes, I looked at my dad too, and I was like, Dad, he's been in like multiple DC.
He's been in so many DC projects.
I was like, did you not remember Green Lantern?
Like, seriously, right? Like, there's so many good callbacks. There's so much good feeling. You get like these warm and fuzzies when you're watching it because you see this or that. Like I said, I'm not spoiling nothing. There's so much fun going on in this. I am not a DC person. I honestly haven't watched a single Cavill Superman. I have not, like, I didn't watch any of the Wonder Women. I haven't watched any of that because I'm not a big DC person.
Wonder Woman's my fave.
But man, this was fun. If I'm not, look, I don't judge a movie on I don't judge a movie going.
The artistic style and the lighting was just trash. I went to art school, okay? I went to film school. Okay, I know what good stuff is. And that wasn't it.
Right. All that aside, I don't do that shit because I didn't go to art school. I don't see that what other people see. All I can tell you is I had a lot of fun.
I had
a lot of fun at that movie.
In my head, when we first see like the Flash, like just like in his suit and stuff, running around having fun, the first thought in my head was,
what is it with Lainey and tight suited guys all today, man? First it was Ray, now it's the Flash. See how it is?
I was gonna say the first thought in my head was, I want to see who would win in a race, him or Quicksilver. Because
you are
just
a
the
nerd.
scene of him running just so much reminded me of Evan Peters, like
Yeah.
having fun in X-Men. And I'm like, this is the kind of thing that I enjoy. Like,
Did
this,
anybody
like,
else laugh out loud
who
when nobody
cares
else
vibe.
did? Because I literally laughed out loud when
Oh
there
no,
was
my whole
nobody
theater
else.
was laughing.
See, my whole theater was not as funny as I was because I thought there were parts where I was just laughing and people were like,
I had a family of with
You would
like
obsession.
with some little kids, and those little kids were losing their minds at some of the jokes.
yeah, dude, there were some little zinger jokes that I was, and then there were some little cameos, and there's like you see this, there's so much little like stuff on the walls and stuff on the like
So many
oh my-
callbacks,
It was
just so
so
many
good,
callbacks.
dude. It was so good.
And then
Charlie,
it's
you're
like-
gonna love it, dude.
I just please
Yeah.
don't.
It's
Yeah.
only one movie where they actually made Batfleck good, in my opinion.
Oh, dude, I can't. I'm not. I can't even. I'm
Don't.
just saying. When Charlie's done with it,
I
wanna
haven't
see-
seen it yet.
I want to see you
Oh,
smile.
God.
That's not a
You're gonna
spoiler.
love
Like
it.
I know, damn it.
You're gonna love it.
Transform.
But it also
That's all I'm
like
gonna
really it also really made you it also really made you feel like the movie pulled at a lot of heartstrings. The movie absolutely I had fun.
This was literally like the Avengers movie for DC, is what it felt like. It
was
actually did feel like a good, like that was how I would describe it. It literally felt
was
like
fun.
an Avengers movie for DC.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun, man. I think you're gonna have fun watching it. I was smiling the whole time. And like I said, I'm
yeah.
not a DC person. The one DC movie that I can say I've watched and I've seen a bunch of times is the Aquaman, because like I like Momoa. I think Momoa is funny.
Seriously, watch
Shazam was-
both the Shazam movies.
I
Shazam
saw
was good.
Shazam yesterday in preparation for the Flash, and honestly, it took me 3 days to get through it. The first one was good. I really enjoyed Peacemaker, the show, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. That was
I
good.
finally watched that too. Me and my dad were talking about that. I was like, why didn't they just release this to begin with?
Exactly.
Like,
Because someone was an idiot and thought it'd be a great idea to cut stuff out. Yeah, okay, this is
Yo,
awesome.
listen,
I'm getting mad.
seriously, once I
People-
watched it, it made
Release
so
the
much
Rise
more
of Skywalker
sense.
cut.
People who are not paying attention to John Cena's acting abilities are missing out. Like I've been on the John Cena hype train since Trainwreck. I don't know if anyone saw that movie with
Blockers.
Amy Schumer and
Blockers.
Ron James is in it. But bro,
Blockers is one of my favorite.
Bro, he's
movies with him.
I mean, he's in the Fast and Furious franchise. That dude is everywhere.
That
That's
man,
Peacemaker is
everywhere.
amazing.
Fun fact: John Cena has filled the most Make-A-Wish requests in history.
No shit. That's cool.
So I've followed him since like early WWE days. So I used to watch like his engagement with Nikki
I got that
Bella and
reference.
stuff, and I was watching like WWE Divas and stuff, and they talked about him a lot. And yeah, he's literally like he has fulfilled the most Make-A-Wish requests.
Nah, no cap.
You can't hate him.
He sounds like a really.
You have a
great
pet
guy.
eagle and you named him Eagly. Classic.
Oh my god.
Caw. All right. Well,
He's hugging me. Take a picture. Take
Oh,
Bro, you guys got to see Peacemaker.
yeah.
anything else anybody wants to chat about, wants to get out? Anybody?
I feel like in conversation with the AI stuff, man, like
Mm-hmm.
there's also a positive you need to look at it. Not you, but like writers in particular, since like that was a conversation. I don't think looking, because I was on this podcast, I was watching this podcast with Floyd Marshall Jr. and he had two independent screenwriters up there, and they were saying the benefits of ChatGPT.
Sure.
But like when they hit writer's block, they pretty much ask it to fill in some blanks for them, and it does that. It doesn't necessarily have to be the whole basis of screenwriting. Like it doesn't have to take away the artist for
Listen.
that.
I thank the ATMs when they give me money.
There you
Okay, I am absolutely going to be one of the friends of the Overlord AI when they take over, and I believe the ATMs are going to lead the charge. But
I think you should probably ask the aliens that first.
But you know, look, AI. I haven't messed with any AI really. Not photo AI. Not any Chat GPT.
I've used Chat GPT. Oh,
But you know, for me, AI. You know, if you weren't paying attention to Terminator and any of these other stories that have shown us the way to super intelligence wiping us out, you weren't paying attention. So I've always told the AI overlords, I'm on your side. I'm cool with being like the man that greases the wheels on the AI machines, whatever you need to change some motherboards. I'm that guy. But ultimately, it's a slippery slope. Creatively, it's a slippery slope, and you know, I'm for you doing you. I haven't really hooked up with the AI yet. I haven't used it to do any thummies yet. I haven't used it to do any artwork yet. I'm not too hip on the AI right now. I mean, look, I know people who have built AI algorithms to do some really cool shit, like some really out of the box thinking shit. So as the technology advances, but as just like anything else, I believe that there should be some backstops and there should be some safety protocols, and we can't let, you know, stuff that's smarter than us get away from us. I mean,
I
ultimately,
might have
I
a pretty
think
hot take on the AI
let's
writing
hit it.
situation. I will use AI to generate art. The hawk looking Jedi Sith thing that's my profile picture on Twitter is an AI. Like I could never have come up with a concept like that, a bird that looks like a Jedi, whatever. But on the other hand, and the best analogy I can use is like I'm a hip hop head, and the artists that I gravitate towards are lyricists who do not use ghostwriters. So ghost writing is a thing that is perfectly fine. Like there are phenomenal people behind the scenes writing lyrics for people that can't perform this music or speak it the way that someone else can. So if you're going to use AI to generate your videos, your scripts, etc., whatever, just know that that is a ghostwriter. And if you want to be respected as a creator, better not let that shit get out. When everybody found out that Drake had a ghostwriter on some of his shit, you found out what happened there. He's still selling stuff, right? But me and maybe a collective of other people are a little bit of loss of respect knowing you don't write your own shit. So that's kind of where I come.
I don't know. I feel like it was
that.
obvious for him. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, but when you're up here and you're flying high and you're
Yeah.
selling shit, and no one's paying attention to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So ruthless. Yeah. AI is just a ghostwriter that has all the histories of the internet that we do. Like it's all just learning programmed by us.
I can respect a person more who actually is willing to admit, yes, I have ghostwriters doing this and helping me with the process, and I'm giving them credit for it versus, oh, I wrote most of this myself or whatever, and it's like, no, we know you didn't.
That and if you're gonna go down the AI route, like that will all forever become a part of your identity. So like if you want to do that, sure, and I'm sure it's gonna help people excel. I know it has already helped people excel. We know people are out there writing YouTube videos right now using AI. So
that's basically what I did when I had writer's block for like my videos for school. Was I would take inspiration. Or like I would come up with like a base idea of like this is what I want my topic to be about, and just write it from there.
Yeah, I haven't used any of it. I'm interested in the technology, but it's just not there for the kind of stuff I want to do. The stuff that I'm trying to do is the technical, is more of the technical side, the what would be machinery and engineering. And I haven't found any programs that are helping me do any of that yet. When you're helping me with the engineering and the manufacturing side of things, then that's a different story. But right now, as far as writing, creative, and design, that doesn't help me because I'm just a dumb muggle. Like I don't have any. I'm not smart like that. I kind of create videos by the seat of my pants and talk out my ass. I don't really write anything. I don't script a single thing when I do videos. So for me, it hasn't really benefited me
and it
yet
shows.
at all.
I mean,
hey,
just kidding.
I'm just saying, like, honestly, the stuff that gets the most hype is like
fired.
Well, because someone.
Listen, if you want to throw stones, we can throw stones, baby. I like stones.
Oh shit! Going down.
No, it's nothing.
That's an infamous Joe Budden line. He's talking about like
Oh.
how rappers like Jay-Z and people brag about how they don't write anything down. He goes, "Yeah, I can tell."
Yeah. I don't. And I know a lot of people do. A lot of people script stuff out. I don't. That's not the way I flow, but that's also why I don't create a lot of long form content, because I can't sit here and do take after take after take after take. That shit breaks me. So when
I think you get a more genuine
feel that
community like this if you just go your own.
I mean, look, I would love to have I would love it if I could hire people. No one wants to make money. I mean, that's what I found in this YouTube space is no one wants to make money, right?
Time is money.
Like I want people that do graphics. I want animators. I just don't need writers because I can't read. Like that has nothing to do with the fact that I couldn't follow a teleprompter if you paid me, right? So for me, it has nothing to do with any other that. I would love to hire people. I would love to have people edit videos and tell me what to say, or let me speak on something and then edit a video around it. I just can't find people to pay.
It's also just like sometimes it's like there's not really a way you can do a script for something. Like sometimes if you're just speaking your mind or giving an opinion, you can't really like script that.
Yeah, well, a lot of my short content is just me kind of reacting and having fun. I'm not trying to, break down barriers with an excellent script and VO. Like that's just not me.
Right.
What, like me? I spent 4 hours making a video about how Bruce Banner's a lion sack shit, and I only get 7,000 views on TikTok.
It shows.
Bro, it's tough, but like I don't know.
It's like
theory crafting is the hardest.
It's like
shit
there
to
are
do
things that you can use scripts for, and you might need it for, and things you don't need a script for.
Well, and it's look. I mean, to be honest, I have tried and worked with people and tried to get them to create for me. Right? There's certain things that I have in my head that I'd love to get out in the world. I'm not smart enough to do it. Right? So I'm literally spending time right now on UE5. Like I'm going to build my own world, and I'm going to build the things that I want other people to build for me using UE5, using YouTube to teach me, because I can't hire people to do anything. Right? I just can't. I've tried. If I could get an animator, we'd be seeing my Star Wars show or my Star Wars games out in the world. I can't get animators to do anything. There's not enough of them in the world on top of it. Right? So ultimately it's people don't want to put in the time to do the work, right? They want the quick, easy paycheck. So, and that's why I've always said, this is more for me, right? I love hanging out with all you guys, and I love all the people that subscribe to the channel, but ultimately this is for me to get this stuff out, because the people in my real life hate this shit. So this is my outlet. The only reason I want to monetize is so I can do more for other people. I don't want to monetize for me. I want to monetize so, we get money in, I can buy gear for other people. I can help people upgrade their shit. We can do more of that, because that's what I enjoy doing, right? I'm not looking to make money so I can have a second or third stream of income. I don't need that. I have fun at what I do for a living. This is more for me to share and to help people get further on their journey, because everybody's trying to do their thing. So like Lainey, I've been following the stuff you're making because you're doing the stuff that I would like doing, which is talking tech, right? You're showing people how to do this. You're showing people how to do that. I'm paying attention.
About some people to not do it anymore.
Well, hey, I'm paying attention, right? And you're doing other people a service when you're teaching them something they don't know, right? So like, I love all that tech shit. That's what built this place.
Yeah, it was something that started as
this is how stupid this shit is, right? I mean, this is how dumb this stuff is, right? I mean, I got screens, so
yeah, you do.
Ultimately, it's like, and that's only like the front side.
Jeez.
Yeah, like that was something for me that was it started as like a school project and kind of ultimately became something I actually enjoy doing in my free time.
Yeah. Well, me and Scotty were talking about just putting up these all night and just going from here all night. Like this is what we were talking about. Just streaming from here.
That would be dope. To see if
Yeah, because I have like 2 cameras. So I have one that's like right here next to me that's like looking at me, and then I have another camera because I redid my entire like stream setup.
Oh, there it is.
So
man, what?
Everybody's got their stuff up.
I gotta move my other camera because my other camera was meant to be a dog camera for my dog.
I think we're just living with the one, Dan.
Oh no, this is.
Hey, ain't nobody out there own this.
Let the rich. Oh, that's Nerd Avenger. Oh my.
Oh, is that a Nerd Avenger fanny pack?
Yes, sir.
That's what it looks like. It looks like a Nerd Avenger fanny pack.
White. In white.
In white. Jeez.
The in-game style.
Yes, sir.
Woof. Woof. Well, I am.
That's old school.
Yeah, because I originally did videos from like different things that I was doing in like marketing, and then my teacher, because I had to tell my teacher like everything, don't I? I told my teacher about my streaming and podcasting and stuff, so he wanted me to like switch over to like tech and gaming and all that, and I was like, okay, that works. As long as I get to do whatever.
Yeah.
Is that Morai in the background?
But
yes.
Behind the right shoulder?
Yeah, like with the two. That's Morai, right?
Lainey, he's asking you if that's Morai behind you.
That thingy?
Yeah, right there.
That's a plague doctor little thingy I got at school once. Plague doctor.
Not a Morai.
See, and that's what I'm saying. I can't wait for some Morai plush dolls. Can I get a Morai plush doll, please? Can I get a Morai that I can put on my shelf behind me?
And the one next to it's a pumpkin spice latte.
All right, so here's my pumpkin spice.
They're like not really squishmallows, but they were selling them at my school bookstore, and I had to get
So,
it.
last thought before we go to the backstage and laugh at everybody. Do we think there's a possibility at all in the realm of space that we see Grogu and Ahsoka?
No. Not unless it's like a post-credit / like
So
afterwards.
my thought with the Sabersmith is
Or the very beginning.
Could the Sabersmith be talking to Grogu with the Darksaber crystal?
I think Grogu might be like Boba Fett in the episode type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Could it be like a mid
cameo?
A mid scene where, Din Djarin knows about, because the Darksaber got crushed, right? We saw that in our Mando season 3. So could they salvage the crystal and that be a Grogu scene with, I didn't know he left the temple, and Din brings the crystal and says, can little dude do something with this? And bibbity bobbity boop. Grogu gets a lightsaber in the middle of the Ahsoka show. Instead of that being, because really Ahsoka's got her sabers, bro. Right? Like, we know she makes them herself. We know she makes them from scraps. They don't look like anybody else's sabers. So she doesn't need that help. Sabine's got Ezra's saber. So where are we at?
I think it's too soon for him to have a saber.
Yeah.
I think not only that, but I think like even though we had like the kind of cameo like with Book of Boba Fett, I think Ahsoka is gonna be kind of its own thing.
Just focus on that.
And
I don't see where the Sabersmith comes in. If Ahsoka's got her sabers and Sabine has Ezra's saber, and we see her using that against our new friends, our new orange-bladed friends, where does our Sabersmith come in?
Maybe that's for when
salvage from.
Maybe that's for the crossover movie.
Oh no, that was.
Well, I mean, it's no secret that Ahsoka and everybody knows that Luke Skywalker is out there starting a temple. Like, she could just be talking to him about the fact that Luke has met Grogu.
So that could be a Luke tie-in. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
This is going back to my point earlier of Thrawn finding out about them.
About Luke?
not only do I think he might find out about Luke, but there's the potential that with, Moff Gideon even mentioning Thrawn in season 3 finale, that he's going to talk about Grogu, and maybe he's going to want to hunt down more than just Luke, especially when the Empire already went after Grogu before.
Full court press to the little guy.
And that's probably where I'd start saying Mara Jade's probably going to start to come in.
Look, I think this is a good opportunity to start bringing,
Double
as
spy.
well as we start to see Thrawn's.
Watch Shin end up being Mara Jade. Because I just don't see how you would bring in a character that's like mad. I mean, they did it with Thrawn, but they animated him first. How do you fit in someone like Mara Jade with a entirely new actress in this story where she's not already been established?
Well, I mean, by this point in the timeline, she would be a bounty hunter. So she could even be tied into Grief Karga, because we've obviously seen that Grief Karga has now taken himself and established himself as this whole city, political figure. So, I mean, if anything, they have a bunch of different ways they could do it.
They've also kind of set up the War of the Bounty Hunters in Outlaws, right?
Yeah.
That seems to be what Outlaws is setting up, not just being a game for lack of story. I think it seems like the Outlaws game is there to set up the Bounty Hunters War, and maybe we start to see some of these characters in their early phases of, in their story. We know in Outlaws we're going to see the handoff between Jabba getting Han Solo and Carbonite, right? We know we're going to see that in the game, so that gives us a timeline. Could we see more characters that we know in the game that lead us to the War of the Bounty Hunters, which leads us to the Boba Cad Bane fight, which leads on to more opportunity to find these characters in the future with, the Mandalorian or the movie leading to a Mara Jade expansion.
Mara Jade as an NPC in Star Wars Outlaws? Yes.
Why not?
I say it's not unreasonable to bring her in as a bounty hunter either, because with how season 3 was going as well, we obviously are seeing that the Republic is starting to become more aware that the Empire is coming back, and they are starting to become more involved. And so word travels fast around the galaxy with all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so if she were to be in this time, this point of time, a rogue bounty hunter, not necessarily using her for the Force or her lightsaber yet, she doesn't have to necessarily be introduced like that until later on. And that's why I say maybe they could put her in as a double spy, because she's obviously knows about everything. She works for the Empire. She is kind of in that in-between phase of okay, I'm still, I've been raised by the Empire. I've been raised by Palpatine, but I'm also no longer part of that. So now I have an actual choice to make in what I want to be a part of.
Right. But when you say later on, how much further, because we're soon enough, we are getting that Heir to the Empire movie, and if she's not introduced by then, I mean, granted, there is 30 years between the timeline that Charlie doesn't like and now, so you could put her in that post, but it's I'll be kind of reminiscent, it would suck to not have her be a part of this now, because it's God damn, when are you coming?
Here's my theory. So now that at Celebration they announced the whole Kevin Feige movie and he's starting to get involved. I know. Hold on, hear me out. My theory is that with him getting involved, they're going to try to cast Karen Gillan to be Mara Jade. She's the perfect age. She's played Nebula. She does. But
what about
that's what I would think.
What about Deborah Ann Wall?
I think Karen Gillan's the perfect person to play it.
And they can't use her. They're going to end up using her in Aquaman.
I'd like to see Mara Jade.
We need to replace. We need to
on
replace
Mount
the bed shitter.
Oh,
Oh God, no, please.
But
don't.
what were you saying? Hot?
I think Mara Jade could easily be on Mount Tantus protecting the cloning situation, or
That's why I
be
say,
like the
numerous
contingent
things
that's
that can write her in.
Don't put me
the
in bed.
contingent that is helping Palpatine protect his Force cloning facility.
Right. Well, as the hand, especially as the
Moff
hand of the
Gideon's.
Empire after Thrawn gets ousted and after the rebellion takes over, it seems like that would be the likely.
She's
I mean,
rogue. Like I said,
there's-
she's rogue at this point, so she has
But
so
where,
many different
where is
options.
she during the times of Bad Batch, though? Is the question.
During
That's
the
what I
times
wanna
of
know.
Bad Batch, she was actually technically supposed to be the one who witnessed Palpatine's death on the Death Star. She was supposed to be there going to save Palpatine. She was the one who basically was
Charlie, cover
told
your
by
ears.
Palpatine.
Charlie,
Yeah.
Charlie, cover your ears.
No,
There was a
I'm just blacking out.
on the Death Star
You're good.
behind the Palpatine's throne room, and there was a little room that she could hide in. Don't tell anybody. I'm just saying there was a fancy room that, that had a certain mirror in it. I'm just saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like in Legends, basically Palpatine, like what is it that Rey and Kylo frickin' do or whatever in the movies? Basically, that's what Palpatine did with her, and he basically shows in her mind Luke is the one who kills him, and Luke and Vader had teamed up, so that's why she goes after Luke after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, see, and I think
so she goes,
this would be a perfect opportunity for her to have been on Tantus this whole time,
Right.
out of the mix.
Yeah, but then it's like you waited
Not-
6 years to get revenge because
Hey, it's best served cold, babe.
I mean, by
Haven't
that,
you ever come back on that boomerang burn?
by
You've
this
never had a
point,
boomerang
she
burn?
already
Come on.
found him. By this point, she already found him, which is why I think if they do this introduction, it would be the very like early beginnings of her relationship with Luke and like helping him, because this is a point where Thrawn is pretty much forcing her hand to help Luke while Thrawn is hunting him down.
Well, see, and we don't know what version of Thrawn we're going to get in Ahsoka. I think that's the part that I'm most excited about. Are we going to get, the Rebels Thrawn? Are we going to get the book Thrawn? Are we going to get a new Thrawn? Like,
Are we going to get a mix of Thrawn?
Right. Is there going to be, his time in the Outer Rim or in the Outer Reaches? Has that changed his perspective on some stuff? Did he see some shit? Right. I mean, he must have seen.
He's
some
seen
shit.
Space
And
Whale.
that's why I think I'm kind of leaning towards, maybe he's not just hunting Luke down. Maybe he's gonna find out about other people or other Jedi Force users like Grogu, or even like say Mara Jade double crosses him, he's gonna go after her. So there's really no telling.
Well, and then if you really, it's
Mara Jade is Thrawn's hand.
No, she want to fight him.
It just depends on which version of this, we're going to get. Again, I have a lot of faith in Dave. I think Dave is the right one to usher us into the next generation of Star Wars. A lot of people are really shitting on Dave right now, saying he has a woke agenda, saying he has this, but I think that's a lot of the those are a lot of my friends over there, clickbaiting and click hating and trying to get those views. But ultimately, I feel like we're in a good space for Star Wars at this point. I feel like the stories that are coming out, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Acolyte. I'm looking forward to Skeleton Crew. Jude Law in Star Wars. How can we go wrong, right? I mean, there's so much going on. And then Ahsoka this summer. This is the thing that I'm most excited about.
It's crazy. Got here
This
so
is gonna
fast.
be like my show for the summer.
Well, but look, I don't do many watch parties. This is the one I might have to watch party. This is the one I might have to like put my second camera on the screen, do a little blur, put it on the side, whatever. But ultimately, this is the show I probably will watch party because I'm such a shill for the character, but at the same time, this is the one I've been waiting for, right? Ever since I read the book, ever since I found out they were doing the adaptation, I'm excited for the character in live action. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm digging what I've seen so far. I am really excited to see Sabine with Ezra's lightsaber. That's something that I was really lobbying for before the show was done, and now that we've seen it in the trailer, I'm pumped. So yeah, I invite everybody to come hang out when we do watch parties for Ahsoka because I think those are going to be the most fun. I might even change some background and do some new stuff for the upcoming show. But I told everybody it was going to be end of summer, right? The summer slot, end of summer slot is where it was going to be. It ends up being in August, which is perfect. That's the best time of year for me when I have the most amount of time before my season gets insane. So yeah, I'm excited. And I can't wait. I think this is going to be another great year for all the Star Wars. And yeah, anybody else have any final thoughts before we jump out of this 3-hour stream, this 3-hour tour?
I do actually, because you guys talked about a lot of stuff earlier. I'm gonna get on a soapbox for a minute for Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren.
Sebastian Stan,
because we were talking earlier about Kylo being his first apprentice at the temple, etc. And now if he meets Grogu and Mara Jade, how is this all going to fit in? Blah, 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 blah. When we hear things like Kylo was Luke's first apprentice at his Jedi temple, that is the perspective of Leia. Luke vanishes, bro. They don't know where he went, where he was, what he was doing. All she knows is he established a temple eventually on this planet. Kylo was sent there after it was established. So Kylo being his first apprentice only applies to that temple. Luke could have done many, many things. We know he is unlocking Palpatine's vaults. We know we know that him and Kylo are visiting Jedi temples and that Luke was doing this before Kylo was even his apprentice. So you got to stay hyped. If Kylo is a part of this shit, like you want good young Luke Skywalker stories, Kylo has to be a part of that too. So.
Right. Well, and I am looking forward to, eventually there's going to be a battle between Snoke and Thrawn, right? For the control of what will become the First Order. So there's a lot of space left out there for us to get good stories. So like I said, I'm really excited. I think,
and that's the kind of stuff I look forward to. The stories we don't see coming.
Yes.
Like the stuff that is not pulled from Legends. Like I look forward to that stuff.
Yeah, something new. I mean, there is a lot of good stuff coming from Legends, but
twists and
I do
turns
like
we
the
don't
new
see.
news. I do like the new news.
Yeah.
What up, Dan? Teed up.
Give me my adult Gunji, my adult Goku, I need him as headmaster.
My adult Gunji.
Give it to me now. Who else? My adult Kata Marin at Ray's Academy. I need it, and I need it right now.
I want Grogu to be the bad guy in the Rey movie.
Oh no, don't.
I want Grogu. I want Grogu to go all dark side, have a dark saber, and a red blade. And just Grogu.
Don't do that to him.
Grogu.
He wasn't a baby. He was a full-grown man.
He was a baby. He was cute when he was a baby, but what happened to him?
No.
What happened to baby Grogu?
Din Djarin dies.
Din Djarin dies and turns baby Grogu.
Man,
that's it. Baby Grogu goes dark side.
He was
it's gotta be a brutal death. It's gotta be a brutal death if it's
we
gonna
ain't
switch
killing
him.
no Djarin. He was chilling on the farm at the end of season 3. Let that brother rest in peace.
That's it. I think that's the last. I'm saying it. I think that could have been the last episode of The Mandalorian ever. I really do think that could be it.
We still got to see the Mythosaur again.
No, but I'm not saying that's the end of the timeline. I'm saying that's the end of this series, potentially picking up with something new. Every goal that was set out was accomplished. Got Grogu back. Grogu's safe. Grogu's with him. The Mandalorians are back together. Everybody's friends. There's no more factions. They're back on Mandalore. All check.
Everything I thought would happen happened.
Everything I said would happen happened. So, I mean, we got to see how Moff Gideon we got to hear how Moff Gideon got the dark saber. Dark saber's been destroyed. There's no more darks. I mean, at this point, that package is taped up, boxed up, labeled, and shit. Like it's out. It's done. I think that they could be moving on to the Mando movie at this point. I think that they could really start diving into that instead of giving us more Mandalorian. Because what do they do now? It's Adventure of the Week. There's no big end all. Like we got to save Grogu. Like we got to save, Bo-Katan. We got to go help the Mandalorian. Like that's Moff Gideon's dead, or at least these versions of him. They could clone Moff Gideon. Maybe, I don't know, but at that point, that's when we get into cloning Moff Gideon. Like what the shit is? Like what does Din Djarin got to do with that though? Like, are they going? The only way Grogu speaks and tells him,
"Hey, Dad, they got my blood. We gotta go get my blood, man, because they can't have my blood. Then they make other force powerful Gideons, man. We gotta go get my blood."
And that's it. That's the only adventure they could go on for the story. It just seems like it's a good signing off point. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. That's what I think they're doing.
Muffins.
There you go. Either that or you give us more Book of Boba Fett and include it in that. Right? Like give me a Book of Boba season 2.
God.
I would rather lit myself on fire.
I would love a Boba season 2.
just stick by
Give me
something
a Boba joining the Mandalorians through finding out who Jango Fett really was. Show me
the Boba
Jango
Fett
scenes with a young Boba.
The rightful show that Tamora Morrison deserved.
I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying let's let Tim get back into, like, give him some hair so we get a younger Jango
Bring
Fett.
us live action Bad Batch.
Give us no, not even saying that, but give us Boba as a young man following Jango before his death, and then showing like his lineage, because they already went through the chain codes of Jaster and all of that.
Daniel Logan come back.
That's what I'm all
Pass
about.
It down to Daniel Logan.
Daniel Logan come back.
But I'm saying, like, couldn't Daniel Logan play a young Boba, and then or even Tim playing older Boba, and
Daniel's the perfect Logan to play Prime Boba. What do you mean?
But I'm saying, like, look, Boba finding out his lineage is true Mandalorian, right? Like all of these jokes about him being a clone, like, oh, you're donor.
Prime Boba.
Like, I thought they made a joke about
Mandos roll out.
They did, but I'm saying I'm saying him finding out who Jango really was, like finding out that he was one of the true Mandalorians.
But that's what I thought they made a joke about in season 2 when he met Bo-Katan, and
they made a joke about him being a clone, not about him because he said my father, and then she said, "You mean your donor?"
I thought he said something about Jango still being true.
He said, my father gave me, or this was my father's armor.
Okay.
And she said, "How dare you wear that armor? You're no Mandalorian." She says, he says, "My father, this was my father's armor."
Yeah.
And she said, "You mean your donor?" And he says,
Right.
"Watch it, princess."
Right.
Unless you want to be eaten out of a straw. But yeah, I mean, look, it would be awesome because they did the chain code conversation with Din Djarin to have the second season of Boba be more about Jango, be more about how he is really Mandalorian, how he fought in the Mandalorian Wars with Jaster when he was the leader, and show that story leading him back to Mandalore and joining up with Bo and the rest of the Mandalorians in the fight that's coming. Because otherwise, how do you get Boba in the big fight that's coming at all? Like, how do you bring Boba into the fold? Right? I feel like he has to be in that final battle.
Because we don't even really actually know what he's doing now with the ending of Book of Boba Fett, where he's like, "I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this isn't right for me.
Or maybe this isn't for me." You're right. Right.
Yeah, and it's like, well, now that it's been like such a certain amount of time since then, where has he been?
I want to see the Slave One going back to Camino. That's the first scene I want to see, is the Slave One going back to a demolished Camino and him finding like the Omega platform or like some other labs that are still there where he can find videos of Jango and maybe Darth Tyrannus making a deal, or him training young Boba on Camino, right? Like some kind of training or something. I feel like Camino would be a great place to see in live action again. And to have Boba go back and learn more about his true lineage being Mandalorian.
Do you think he'd find out about Omega then?
That's what I'm saying.
What a great way to go back. Like boomerang back to Bad Batch.
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't even be opposed to it either, because if they really could find someone to play a live action grown up Omega and find out like
Charlize Theron.
What?
That was
Dude, I just like her fighting in anything. She's just fine.
yeah. I mean, I loved her in Fast and Furious.
I like her, dude. She's a good badass. I'm just saying.
She's funny. She's great.
But yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't matter who plays her. I just think it would be a fun. It would be
perfect.
a fun.
Let's get Gal
season.
Gadot. Good.
You know, I just think it'd be a fun second season of Boba. And then, of course, your favorite line for Kenobi season 2: Mace Windu versus Kenobi in the desert next to Maul's grave. That's my ending of
die on that hill, bro.
I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill. Mace Windu dies at the hand of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's it.
What I thought the pitch for Boba was to have him against Mace.
But that's what everybody wants.
Oh.
I want
just
the
want
Django
Boba.
story. I want the Django story. What I really want
Boba Fett back
is Mace Windu hunting Luke Skywalker. That's what I want.
If Boba and Mace meet now, Boba's getting waxed.
The other thing too is like, well, the other thing you have to think about too is that we're also going to be getting other characters back
Double
as
tap.
well.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna get what's his face? Oh gosh,
Kira?
Timothy Olympia.
Ooh,
Yaddle. We're supposed to. Sorry, yeah. We're supposed to get. We're probably gonna see him back at some point, whether it be in Book of Boba or if they do end up bringing a new season of Mando.
Man, there's
Natalie Portman wants to come back as Padme, so anything's possible.
But see,
yeah, that too.
I mean, but you know what? What would be awesome with her though would be some of that R2D2 memory bank shit.
Oh yeah.
So that Luke could see Padme and Anakin. Like, what a great way to put those two back into character together as holograms that Luke has seen from R2 when his circuitry goes crazy. Like that, for me, what better place to put her than, because I wanted to see her in Kenobi. I wanted to see
I would want to see like
Vader going back to her
flashbacks.
grave or some crazy shit like that. That's kind of some of the stuff I was hoping for in Kenobi. But all right, kids, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hawks is always my cohort in crime. Lainey and Charlie, thank you for slumming it down here with us. It's good to see you guys again. It's been far too long. You're always welcome. I always send you guys
Dan.
And then Dan, I'm disappointed you didn't bring me a taco or something, a steak sandwich, anything.
This is
but
racist.
It's okay.
It's
racist to ask you for a taco. It'd be more racist if you asked me for a taco.
I was gonna say.
The only.
But no, really, I got tacos on the way. So I'm going to jump on out of here. But anyway, thank you guys for coming. As always, don't forget, get out there. Don't forget to spay your pets, spay and neuter your pets, help control the pet population. Don't forget to tell your loved ones, your family, your friends, your pets what you really think, because you never know. Today is not a guarantee. And may always the force be with everyone. Please be safe. Until the next time, we'll see you later. Peace.
Cross by